Part 150. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1492. The next morning, Zhang Chen drove away from splendid home. Halfway through, he still felt uneasy and went to Kyoshi Academy. Zhang Chen arrived at Kyoshi Academy and breathed a sigh of relief. The imagined debt collection army from Shaoxing did not appear here. It may also be that it was still early and they were still on their way from Shaoxing to Hangzhou. Lao Tan has arrived with more than 20 people. Lao Tan asked them to wait in the row of offices at the back. If something happens in front, they can come to the front immediately. Xiao Wu had also arrived, and was in Tan Shahan's office with Lao Tan. When he saw Zhang Chen come in, Tan Shahan said, "Zhang Chen, you are so worried yourself, why are you here?" "I'm worried," Zhang Chen said, "whatever happens, it will be as big as what happens here." Zhang Chen asked Xiao Wu, "The Pole didn't come back last night?" "No," Xiao Wu said, "if he comes back, I will tie him up here too." "These two people know that they have caused enough trouble this time, right?" Lao Tan said. "What else can happen? All the money must have been lost," Tan Shahan said. Zhang Chen listened and felt that what they said was right, but he felt that it was not that simple. Logically speaking, Lu Ligan and Meng Ping were not people who would dodge when things happened. Especially Meng Ping, who was willing to, even if he is imprisoned, he will have to return to Yangzhou from Hainan to surrender. What's more, although the amount of 1.6 billion is large, no one can currently afford such a large amount of money, but it is still possible to face it and buy yourself some time. As long as you buy time, brothers and friends, it is still possible for everyone to work hard together to pay off this debt. Zhang Chen thought to himself, do these two guys have other debts and owe far more than this 1.6 billion? Or is there another hidden secret? Tan Shahan's phone rang. She picked it up and shouted, "When and which company?" She put her mobile phone on the table and pressed the speaker phone. Sister Gihua's voice immediately came through the phone. She said, "It was Mr. Ni's company. Many people came and wanted to move things. Our security guards refused to let them move, so they smashed everything." Tan Shahan said, "I will come right away." Before she finished speaking, Zhang Chen took the phone over and cursed, "Where are you going? They just came here after smashing things. Do you still have time to care about this?" Tan Shahan was stunned. Zhang Chen picked up the phone and asked, "Sister Gihua, what did they smash?" "It's something from their company," Sister Gihua said. "Where are the people from Lao Ni's company?" Zhang Chen asked. "There is no one left. It seems that everyone has escaped." "Where are these people coming?" "Still inside," Sister Gihua said, "I have already called the police." "Oh, Mr. Zhang, they all came downstairs too." "Okay, Sister Gihua, don't worry about them, let alone conflict with them," Zhang Chen said. "Send a security guard to Lao Ni and his company to guard the door. Don't let other onlookers in, and protect the scene." "That's it?" "Okay, I understand, Mr. Zhang, they have all gone out," Sister Gihua said. "How many are there?" Zhang Chen asked. "There seem to be more than 10 or 20, Sister Gihua said. Zhang Chen said, "Okay, I understand." After hanging up the phone, Zhang Chen and Tan Shahan said, "They must be coming here. It seems they are coming with bad intentions." Lao Tan stood up and said, "I will let them prepare." Before Lao Tan could reach the door, he heard the sound of sirens outside. Zhang Chen looked out the window and saw a police car driving in from the door, and two policemen got out of the car. Zhang Chen hurriedly walked out, followed by Tan Shahan. When the police saw them, they asked, "Who is Mr. Tan?" Tan Shahan quickly said, "I am." "What's going on here?" the police asked. Tan Shahan told them the general story, and Zhang Chen added that they had already destroyed a company in splendid Jiangnan and were probably coming here now. As soon as the police heard about this situation, one policeman immediately called to ask for reinforcements, and the other said, "I will go to the gate to meet them." 10 minutes later, 7 or 8 cars drove to the gate of Kyoshi Academy. Seeing the police standing at the door, the people in the cars were surprised and hesitant. The road in front of Kyoshi Academy was very narrow. 7 or 8 cars parked at the door, quickly blocking the road. The police waved to them and told them, "Come in, come in, come in." Someone rolled down the window and asked the police, "Is this the Jinxia group?" The police said yes. "Are you from Shaoxing?" The people in the car nodded and became more confused. How did the police know that they were from Shaoxing? Some people thought that they might have smashed up Lao Ni's company over there, and the police were waiting for them here. If they went in, wouldn't they be trapped in a trap? The man whispered to the driver, "Don't go in." The police came over, patted their car windows and said, "Get in, you are outside, blocking the road." The man holding the steering wheel felt cruel and cursed, "Just go in, I'm afraid of a bird." He turned the car in. The first car went in, and the cars behind it followed suit, quickly filling the parking lot inside. When the people in the car got out, the police asked them, "What are you here for?" "Let's come find Lu Ligan," someone shouted. "Are you here to deal with the debt problem?" the policeman who called came over and asked. People here say yes. The policeman turned to Tan Shahen and asked, "Mr. Tan, is there a place for them to sit?" Tan Shahen said, "You can go to the conference room." The policeman nodded and said to the people who came, "You can come to see people or ask for money, but you are not allowed to cause trouble, let alone vandalism, do you understand? Someone from the city government will be here soon. You go to the conference room and wait, they will coordinate this thing." Zhang Chen stood there and saw Mr. Huang standing behind the crowd, far away, nodding to him and saying hello. Zhang Chen also nodded to him. The police were there, and the police said so. Everyone could only go to the conference room. When they sat down in the conference room, Tan Shahen told them, "My surname is Tan, and I am the general manager of Splendid China. Mr. Lu is not here now. I am the person in charge here. What's the matter with you?" "We're asking Lu for money," someone shouted. Tan Shahen said, "What money do you want?" "He owes us money." Tan Shahen nodded and said, "I owe you money. Do you have proof?" Of course, someone immediately took out the IOU and showed it to Tan Shahen. Tan Shahen took a look at it and asked, "Do you each have this?" Everyone nodded. "The borrower of your IOU is not Mr. Lu, the guarantor is," Tan Shahen said. "That's not the same thing. The person named Ni is hiding, so we're going to find the person named Lu." Tan Shahen nodded and said, "To tell you the truth, we can't contact Mr. Lu either. A monk who can escape cannot escape from the temple. The company is always here when others are not around." At this time, Tan Shahen's company's legal affairs officer arrived, and a deputy director of the municipal government office also arrived. Zhang Chen saw that even Mr. Qin had arrived at some point and was sitting in the corner of the conference room. The deputy director of the municipal government office was named Miao. After Director Miao arrived, another policeman walked in. He was the deputy director of the Shangcheng branch and his surname was Lu. He and Director Miao came to handle this matter together. Mr. Qin, who was sitting there, was a little surprised when he saw this formation. He did not expect that in such a short period of time, the city government and the public security began to intervene. This shows the importance of the Jinxia group. At the same time, he vaguely felt that Zhang Chen yesterday the phone call I made late was not a big lie. Director Miao told everyone that our municipal government's attitude towards this matter is that it must be carried out within the framework of the law, not only to ensure the legitimate rights and interests of your creditors, but also to ensure that the normal production and operation order of the enterprise is not disturbed and destroyed. We hopefully, Both of you can resolve this issue through negotiation. Director Miao said, now, you both will share your opinions and ideas first, and we will listen. Let them express their opinions. People from Shaoxing look at me and I look at you. They don't know who should speak or what to say. In the end, someone still shouted, we don't have any opinions, we just want money. Director Miao turned to Tan Shahen and said, where are you, Mr. Tan? Tan Shahen said, I would like to ask our company's legal lawyer Yu to first explain the legal relationship here to everyone. Lawyer Yu began to explain to everyone what Jinxiu China Holdings Group Co., Limited is and what Zhejiang Jinxiu Real Estate Co., Limited is. Although Lu Ligan is the legal person of these two companies are two independent entities. There is no affiliation with each other. This IOU can only be said to be a guarantee for Zhejiang Jinxiu, not a guarantee for Jinxiu China. Moreover, Splendid China, as a listed company, according to the relevant regulations of listed companies, major matters such as external guarantees must be approved by shareholders' meeting resolutions. Even legal persons do not have the right to provide external guarantees. The creditors were confused, but one thing was clear to them, the Jinxiu that guaranteed them was not the Jinxiu that was building and selling houses everywhere. They were two different things. In the conference room, the situation exploded on the spot. Someone shouted, you said so, the man named Lu deceived us. Some people said, what do you mean? Do you not want to take responsibility? Lawyer Yu waved his hand and said, Mr. Lu did not deceive you. This Zhejiang Jinxiu is indeed Mr. Liu's company. When you asked Mr. Lu to guarantee it, did you tell him that it must be a listed company? If this is the case, I think Mr. Lu will definitely tell you that he cannot seal the seal because he does not have the authority. A group of people were dumb. When everyone borrowed money, they all did it for Nizhijan's sake. The guarantee was just a formality. When they heard that the guarantee was from a big company like Jinxiu, everyone felt that it was reliable. How could they ask? For others, who knows if Jinxiu is Zhejiang Jinxiu or Jinxiu China? They couldn't find Nizhijan now and had no choice but to come here. If they could find Nizhijan, they would keep an eye on him alone. Tan Shahen said, it's not that we don't want to solve this problem, but we need to clarify the legal relationship with everyone first, and then everyone can discuss a solution. After hearing what Tan Shahen said, the noisy crowd felt that there was still hope, so they became quiet. Mr. Qin and Mr. Huang looked at each other and groaned secretly in their hearts. They were so careless that they lost Jingzhou and capsized in the ditch. At that time, they just felt that for a big shot like Lu Ligan, as long as he guarantees, the 100 million would be 100% safe. Unexpectedly, this bastard can't be found now, and it seems that it will be difficult for their IOU to be related to this listed company. No, Mr. Huang thought for a moment and said softly to Mr. Qin, we can still pursue Lu Ligan's personal responsibility. Deputy Director Lu told everyone that this matter cannot be solved in a day or two. It will be a long negotiation and communication process. Your creditors will definitely seek legal assistance, right? Finally, at the suggestion of Deputy Director Lu, all creditors should first register their claims, and then elect creditor representatives, who will be responsible for communicating with Tan Shahen and others. This will also save you all from having to go to Hangzhou together every time. City. The creditors agreed to Deputy Director Liu's proposal. After all the creditors negotiated among themselves, they finally elected 6 representatives, 5 from Shaoxing and 1 from Mr. Huang. Director Miao said, then, Mr. Tan, on your side, hurry up and find Mr. Lu. On the creditor side, go and understand the situation that lawyer Yu introduced to you earlier and see if it is true. On this basis, we can formulate your suggestions and requirements. After 3 days, we will continue to meet here. Thank you for the snake that bit the farmer. Why can't you change your name? Lu, Tianying 1978, Book Friends 2020091116010975. Have a safe trip. Monthly Pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1493. Most of the Shaoxing troops had left, and Director Miao and Director Lu also stood up to leave. Director Miao and Tan Shahan said that Mayor Li cares about your company very much and hopes that you can achieve self-rescue in production and tide over the difficulties. If you need anything, Mr. Tan, please call me. Next, several of our departments will set up a support team to help all companies that have been affected by the financial crisis. Tan Shahan said thank you for your leadership's concern. Zhang Chen was also going back to the company. He told Tan Shahan and Lawyer Yu that we should consider a plan first and put it forward at the next meeting. Lawyer Yu said, let them find out first, and know that what I told them is true. There are not many assets that can be realized and executed under the personal names of Zhejiang Jingxiu and Mr. Lu, and they will lower their expectations. After all, Mr. Lu is only one of the two guarantors of the Dehua Group that borrowed money. If he really has to bear the responsibility, I mean that he should bear part of the responsibility, and don't take it all. Zhang Chen heard what Lawyer Yu meant. This was an idea of protecting oneself wisely. Although this idea was a bit unreasonable, it was to push more responsibilities onto Lao Ni and Meng Ping. Thinking realistically, it was necessary to protect Tan Shahan. They can survive and ensure that the company does not fail. This may be the best and most realistic way. Zhang Chen thought of Li Yang's words last night. This guy seemed to be familiar with this business. He knew that if he kept going, he would definitely get to this point. His words last night also encouraged Tan Shahan to protect herself and not go to other places. If he takes more responsibilities on himself, even if he puts all the responsibilities on Meng Ping, he will have his own way in Nanjing. Zhang Chen was very curious and didn't know what his method was, but he knew he must be very sensitive and couldn't ask more questions. Let's figure out how to preserve splendid China. By preserving this, we will preserve Lu Ligan's roots. Zhang Chen and Lawyer Yu said, come up with a plan first. Lawyer Yu said yes. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu said, you have been here for the past few days, accompanying Tan Shahan. Tan Shahan quickly said no. Why don't you use it? Zhang Chen scolded, you know this is the only disaster that can come from a pole. What if something comes out unexpectedly and knocks on the door, catching you by surprise? Lao Tan was right, but Zhang Chen thought far ahead. Xiao Wu was here, so I felt relieved when I went out. Otherwise, I wouldn't even dare to go to the construction site. Tan Shahan sighed and said, okay, Xiao, thank you for the hard work. Why bother? It's just sitting here and there, Xiao Wu said with a smile. Sister Zhen, don't think I'm an eyesore, just drive me out. Zhang Chen returned to the company. Su Qiaxin was lying on the railing upstairs, as if waiting for Zhang Chen. When she saw him, she shouted, Boss, you are finally back. As soon as Zhang Chen entered the office, Su Qiaxin followed him in. She asked, Boss, is there a fight over there? Zhang Chen asked, do you want a fight or not? Haha, of course I don't want to start a fight, Su Qiaxin said with a smile, but that damn guy, isn't he cool? He knocked one down with a brush and kicked another one over with a slap. I praised him all night yesterday. Zhang Chen laughed and said, is this what you are looking for me for? Do you want me to follow you in praising Xiao Wu? No, Su Qiaxin's expression turned and darkened as she said, we are going to be killed by that damn Jerry and the others. Still can't be contacted? Zhang Chen asked. Su Qiaxin nodded. Zhang Chen's heart also sank. It had been more than 20 days, and there was still no news from either Jessica or Jerry. Zhang Chen wanted Xiaofang to go to the American market in Minneapolis to find Jesse. But thinking that Minneapolis is more than 1,000 kilometers away from New York, and Xiaofang's company is extremely busy now, Zhang Chen didn't say anything. He didn't even tell Xiaofang that they had lost contact with Target for more than 20 days. He was worried that if he told her, Xiaofang would go to the Minneapolis American market, and Xiaofang asked. At that time, Zhang Chen only dared to tell her that Su Qiaxin had been communicating with them about the shipment. Mr. Shentu called me again this morning. She didn't say anything, but I almost wanted to cry, Su Qiaxin said. Not only did Zhang Chen and his colleagues have 7 containers of goods piled on the dock and in the factory, but Shentu Hanjian also had 3 containers of goods that had already been produced and were stranded in the factory without being shipped, plus her little sisters. In the factory, there are a total of 9 containers of goods that have not been left. Target's ghosts can't contact them. Even Su Qiaxin has no idea when these goods will be released. I don't even know how long it can take, Su Qiaxin said. That damn Zhao Zhigang even called me and scolded me, saying that there was no work in the factory and that the workers were almost exhausted, but what could I do? As Su Qiaxin said, she was really about to cry. Zhang Chen quickly comforted her and said, "It's okay, Su Qiaxin, Mr. Shentu, I'll call her later and explain to her, that damn Zhao Zhigang, I'll help you scold him." Instead of overcoming the difficulties at this time, he added insult to injury. He deserves to be scolded. No, boss, if you scold him, he will know that I am here to complain. Su Qiaxin sighed. Oh, he is also anxious. If it were me, I would be anxious too. When I am busy, I will be busy, and when I am idle, I will be idle. Damn it, okay, I'd better go get the guests from South Africa. Grandma, this financial crisis will never reach as far as South Africa. Su Qiaxin stood up and walked out. Zhang Chen sat there blankly for a while, feeling empty in his heart. He suddenly remembered that the day he had just promised Lu Chengcheng to accept the Kuning garment factory, he was sitting alone in the stands of the basketball court of the Kuning garment factory. At that time, there was no news from Lu Ligan and Meng Ping, and he was uncertain about the future. His heart was as empty as now. How come after going around in a circle, the 3 of them came back again? Zhang Chen picked up his cell phone and dialed Lu Ligan, but there was no answer. He dialed Meng Ping again, but still couldn't get through. Zhang Chen threw the cell phone on the desk and let out a long sigh. He stood up, walked to the window, and looked at Lao Ni's office opposite. In the office, even the curtains had been pulled down halfway, and there was no light inside. It was lifeless. Zhang Chen walked back to his desk, took his cell phone, and went to sit on the sofa. He called Qian Fang and told her about Tan Shahan's company's situation in the morning, and also told her about Lawyer Yu's suggestion. Li Yang took the phone over and said to Zhang Chen, Yes, Mr. Zhang, just do what this lawyer said. The clearer the responsibility, the better. Don't think about anything else. I have already made arrangements here. Just wait for them to find Nanjing." Zhang Chen was still curious about how Li Yang arranged it, but he didn't say it, so he didn't ask. Some things are better not to know than to know. When Mr. Huang came out from Tan Shahan and the others, he was very busy. He kept making phone calls and asking friends of one kind or another. The busier he got, the more panicked he became. I originally thought that such a big shot as Lu Ligan could be found in any corner. Even if I could sweep out several hundred million, I didn't expect that this guy would clear the field. If they want to pursue this debt, they can only pursue it personally. The company cannot pursue it. But they didn't expect that this guy has no money at all. He only has tens of thousands of dollars on his card. He has built so many houses and sold them. After buying so many houses, he didn't even have a house under his name. Even his Aston Martin was in the name of the company. The company's shares can be pursued, but Zhejiang Jinxiu is just an empty shelf. As for the shares of Jinxiu China, he went to the Industrial and Commercial Bureau to check and found out that they had been locked up and pledged to a Shenzhen Angzhen Trust Co., limited to issue corporate bonds. Even if it is seized, it has no meaning at all, because what he pledged is the shares, not anything else. Shenzhen people can completely take over everything, and not even the scum will be left. It is still a formal financial company, owned by the state. Wherever you go, it will not matter. I can't beat them. The only thing that gave them some comfort was that Mr. Qin took people to seal Lao Ni's office building and the plane at Xiaoshan Airport early in the morning, and then went to Qiaxi Academy. People in Shaoxing were still looking for Lao Ni. I didn't expect that before this. They took the initiative and were the first to seize the goods. This gave them the initiative. When the people of Shaoxing woke up, they were all behind. Mr. Huang returned to the company and told Mr. Qin about the situation. Mr. Qin scolded him and shouted, "I didn't expect this Lu Ligan to be a big hollow carrot. In fact, there is nothing strange." Before the company went public, Zhejiang Jinxiu Real Estate Co., Limited had only two shareholders, Lu Ligan and Lao Lu. The company was him, and he was the company. Money was always used as it came. Where could there be no matter what personal account, all the money is in the company's account. In addition, he also had a diamond card from Minsheng Bank with a limit of 10 million. At that time, only 5 cards were issued in Zhejiang, and they were given to 5 private entrepreneurs, including Zone Qinghao of Wahaha, Feng Zhenzheng of Qingchunbao, and Wang Xiang Group. Lu Guangqiu and Lu Lepol were also among them. Minsheng Bank also held a grand card issuance ceremony. Lu Lizan holds this card, and as much as he swipes it every month, his finances will make up for it. Also, for people who build and sell houses, houses are the most despised. Because they think they can have it at any time if they need it, they have no intention of wanting it, just like the one beside the Meisi River and Tanshahan. Lu Ligan originally wanted to connect the 2 sets of townhouses in the house, and have them both under Tanshahan's name. Later, the relationship between him and Tanshahan became increasingly unclear. Tanshahan refused to take the house, so it was still listed under the name of Kunpeng Construction. It was for sale, but it would never be sold. When their company went public last year and the financial system began to be standardized, Lu Ligan was paid every month. However, these wages, together with the 5 million he got from Zhang Chen, he paid a deposit that day and got a job. Water drifts. As a result, Lu Ligan turned into a big hollow carrot. "I'm going to find Mr. Zhang." Mr. Huang and Mr. Qin said. Mr. Qin nodded and reminded him, "Be careful, that guy seems to have a good background, don't make a mess of yourself." "How is that possible? I went to help them solve their problems, and they would just thank me." Mr. Huang smiled. "Thank you Lao Chantang for the tip." "Thank you Lao Chantang, Hua Xian Yang Shao, and Xiao Yu Daba for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1494. Zhang Chen woke up very early and couldn't sleep. He took a towel and said to Xiao Zhao, "Come on, Xiao Zhao, get up and wash your face. Don't stay in bed." Zhang Chen wiped Xiao Zhao's urn with a towel while talking to Xiao Zhao. He told Xiao Zhao the current situation of their factory and told her the situation of the foreign trade company. Zhang Chen said, "Xiao Zhao, it feels like this is the most difficult time since we set up the factory. For the first time, we can't see the end. For the first time, I feel a little scared. Fortunately, you are no longer here and can't see these things, so you don't have to have so many worries. But Xiao Zhao, if you are still here, it doesn't matter if it is twice as difficult, we can still get through it together, right? You are not here, there is no help from Hengmei, and neither Zhuangzi nor Mengping can be contacted. I don't even have anyone with whom I can completely open my heart and communicate well. Xiao Zhao, I really feel a little lonely. I'm still worried about Ganzi and Mengping. I don't know what will happen to them. Alas, I really have endless worries. Risk warnings for Tan Shahen and her listed companies have been issued. Their stock price has dropped from 16 Hong Kong dollars to more than 9 yuan. I don't know what will happen next. Tan Shahen and brother Tan, the debt issue has not been resolved, and they have to worry about the stock price again. This afternoon, I have a meeting with creditors, and I don't know what the outcome will be. This matter has not been resolved, and their entire company is in panic. It seems to have an impact on their sales. The news has spread. It's true that good things don't go out, and bad things spread thousands of miles. There are rumors in society that Jinxia Group is about to collapse. If your company is about to close down, who would dare to buy your house? Don't you think so, Xiao Zhao? Xiao Zhao smiled at Zhang Chen without saying anything. Zhang Chen put his face against Xiao Zhao's. Xiao Zhao's face was cool. Zhang Chen felt as if he could smell the long-lost, cool fragrance again. Zhang Chen's nose twitched. But the tears rolled down. The financial tsunami triggered by the collapse of Lehman Bank quickly spread around the world. In order to demonstrate its responsibility as a great power and to save the deteriorating domestic economic situation, the Chinese government launched 10 measures to further expand domestic demand and promote stable and rapid economic growth. This is commonly known as the 4 trillion plan. The first of the 10 measures is aimed at the real estate industry. Real estate, which has been continuously suppressed by macroeconomic control, suddenly serves as the engine to save the economic downturn. The urinal of real estate has been taken out from the corner where it has been dusty for a long time. On October 22, following the State Council meeting's statement on increasing the scale of affordable housing construction, reducing housing transaction taxes and fees, and supporting residents' home purchases, the Ministry of Finance, the State Administration of Taxation, and the Central Bank announced that starting from November 1, for the first purchase of ordinary housing with an area of 90 square meters or less, the deed tax rate will be temporarily reduced to 1%. To provide loans for residents to purchase ordinary self-owned houses and improved ordinary self-owned houses for the first time, the lower limit of the loan interest rate can be expanded to 0.7 times the loan base interest rate, and the minimum down payment ratio is adjusted to 20%. At the same time, the central bank also lowered the interest rates on personal housing provident fund loans, with interest rates for each grade reduced by 0.27 percentage points. These measures mark that since 2003, the government's regulatory policies on real estate have begun to shift towards supporting the development of the real estate market. The following November 10, the State Council once again clarified that the real estate industry is an important pillar industry of the economy, and it is necessary to promote the stable and healthy development of the real estate market. The healthy development of the real estate industry has important implications for industries such as finance, steel, building materials, home appliances, and household products. It is crucial and plays an important role in promoting the upgrading of residents' consumption structure and improving people's livelihood. If we look back on the entire year of 2008, the national and local governments have issued so many policies for the property market, they are so complex, and the contrast between them is so great, it should be rare in the past 10 years. From strict regulation to appropriate relaxation to all-out rescue, from strengthening the construction of affordable housing to further encouraging commodity housing consumption, from restricting loans to lending, from raising the deposit reserve ratio to the biggest interest rate cut in 11 years, from the game between the central bank and the China Banking Regulatory Commission on loosening restrictions on second home properties, to the final decision of the State Council. Before the national team took action, various local governments had already issued bailout policies in advance in the face of the critical economic situation. Some people even jokingly said that the severe economic situation and pressure had forced all local governments to become Xiaogang villages. It was Fenyang, Anhui, where the 18 red handprints took the lead in secretly trying to implement the land contract responsibility system. This time, local government policies have come before the central government. In fact, they have a premonition that the central government's policies will change. At 10 o'clock in the evening on October 21, the notice mentioned by Li Yong and Tan Shehen, the People's Government of Hangzhou City issued several opinions to promote the healthy and stable development of the real estate market in Hangzhou was quietly posted on Hangzhou.com and Hangzhou City Transparent House Sales Network. Hangzhou City's real estate market rescue policy was officially launched. Judging from the content of the bailout policy, it involves all aspects of home purchase, tax exemptions, second home loans, provident fund loans, etc., with a total of 24 articles in 4 major aspects. The long-awaited home purchase has once again caught the attention of the public. It can be said that the Hangzhou city government has basically exhausted the power that a local government can use, and fired every bullet. The falling confidence of home buyers and real estate developers has rebounded amid the continuous rescue policies introduced by local governments and the central government since October. In November and December, the Hangzhou property market began to slowly recover, and the market performance was significantly better than the so-called Golden 9 and Silver 10 that had passed and was not worthy of the name. But all this has become strange and indifferent to Tan Shehen and the others, and they don't feel excited at all. The little sales and spring that quietly come back are not worth the impact of Lu Ligan's disaster. Zhang Chen went directly to Tan Shehen's company. Tan Shehen, Lao Tan, and Lawyer Yu were all waiting for him in the conference room. Zhang Chen asked Lawyer Yu, "There will be a meeting in the afternoon. Do you have a plan?" Lawyer Yu said yes. "What plan?" Zhang Chen asked. Lawyer Yu looked at Tan Shehen and said to Zhang Chen, "I think this is just my personal opinion. Mr. Zhang, I think the more reasonable and possibly more acceptable solution to the other party is to acquire the security right." "What do you mean?" Zhang Chen continued to ask. "That's right. I think they must have gone to a lawyer in the past 2 days and conducted an investigation. The lawyer will tell them that Mr. Liu's signature and official seal are not actually that valuable. If they want to pay all their debts, it is impossible for us to bear the burden, and it will take a long time. There are many lawsuits, and it is still unknown when we will get the money. If the lawyer they consult is smart enough, he will definitely advise them that the greatest possibility and the best way is to share the debt, first get what you can get as soon as possible, and then fight for what you can get. In other words, they can get some actual benefits from us as soon as possible and get some cash immediately. For them, the debt has not disappeared, but it is just turning one of the debt collection channels into money and saving themselves a little bit loss. After getting part of the money from us, they can continue to pursue Mr. Ni and Mr. Meng for the other part. In this way, I think we can put forward our plan, which is to acquire Mr. Liu's company for 20% of the loan amount. Guarantee. After we paid the 20% in cash, they promised that all the claims and debts between them and Mr. Liu would end here and be purchased and sold in one transaction." As Lawyer Yu spoke, Zhang Chen kept nodding. When he finished speaking, Zhang Chen said, "I think this plan is feasible, what do you think?" Zhang Chen asked Tan Shehen and Lao Tan. Tan Shehen and Lao Tan sat there without saying a word. Lawyer Yu also looked at Tan Shehen and sighed. Zhang Chen understood that they must have discussed this plan before he came. Judging from Lawyer Yu's expression and his special emphasis that this was just his personal opinion, it seemed that they had not reached a consensus. It should be that Tan Shehen did not agree to this plan. Zhang Chen thought for a moment, and then he asked Lawyer Yu, could you go to the office next door and sit there? Lawyer Yu understood, he immediately said yes and stood up. When Lawyer Yu went out, Zhang Chen and Tan Shahan said, Tan Shahan, I think Lawyer Yu's plan is feasible. To solve this matter, it will definitely not work without some blood. If you think about it from the perspective of the creditors, they will not promise. If this problem can be solved once and for all, that is also a way. Tan Shahan looked at him and said, Zhang Chen, you think I don't understand this? I didn't know that if we want to solve this kind of thing, we must bleed. But the problem is, I have to have blood first. 630 million, 20%, that is, 326 million. In normal times, this is not a big sum of money and we can afford it. Today, it is really a penny that can stump a heroic man. We still have more than 90 million yuan in our account. Although the sales in various places are a little better than before, we are such a big company, and there are so many people here who want to eat, and there are so many hands reaching out. They are all money that must be paid every day. We are already unable to make ends meet and are tightening our belts to get by. How can we have more than 300 million to deal with this? Also, whether it's cash on the books or daily income, this is the money of a listed company. How can it be moved? So many people are watching, and the Hong Kong Stock Exchange is also watching. Taking such a large sum of money, is it reasonable to pay for the losses caused by the personal actions of legal persons? If this announcement were made, our stock would not have plummeted to the bottom of the dog, but it would already be miserable. To take a step back, even if we have this money, we don't say that it is to fill this hole. We just say that it is a transaction between companies. When we get to Zhejiang Jinxiu, we will still be chased and asked, what is this transaction? What's going on? In the end, the paper can't cover the fire. Zhang Chen listened, and what Tan Shahan said was indeed reasonable and reality. Before Lu Ligan's incident, Zhang Chen knew that their company's funds were tight, but he didn't expect it to be so tight. The guy on the pole always reported good things but not bad things. Zhang Chen didn't know that, so it was normal. Zhang Chen said, the matter must be solved. If it is not solved, I don't think we can even get back. Taking advantage of the fact that it has just happened, it is the best time to solve it. We must solve it. Time is running out. The longer it goes, the more disadvantageous it will be. When they cannot get back their losses in full from Lao Ni and Mengping, I am afraid that at that time, they will not even accept 20%. In my opinion, this matter needs to be resolved quickly. In this way, Tan Shahan, I will find a way to get the money. I can still get more than 300 million. You're crazy, Zhang Chen, Tan Shahan shouted. Why are you so crazy? Then tell me, what else can you do? Zhang Chen said with a smile. Without these 300 million, don't worry, I can still eat, drive my car, and my villa in Huayuan can still be maintained. Just take care of it, it won't affect me. No, Zhang Chen, this won't work, Lao Tan said. I discussed it with Zhen Zhen earlier. If it doesn't work, the worst case scenario is that this company will fail. Let's start a decoration company and start over. Zhang Chen, I knew you would come to act as this good guy. We had discussed it before and we would never drag you into this, Tan Shahan said. You are crazy. What is the difference between your company and my own company? Zhangzi, you Tan Shahan, eldest brother, Yao Fen, which one of you is not my family? I can even risk death, am I, Zhang Chen, still a human being? To put it another way, if it was my company that had a problem today, would you refuse to save it? This matter has been settled, there is no need to discuss it. Zhang Chen stood up as he spoke. I'm going to talk to Lawyer Yu and let him find a way to convince the other party. This is the plan. It's still our wishful thinking. We don't know whether the other party will accept it. If the other party can accept it, if we can solve the problem quickly, We will be happy. Zhang Chen said and walked out. Thank you to the 48-year-old Xiao Sheng, book friend 1505171952079441, 2 fishes, and the reward at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you for your monthly votes from Xiao Shen Nian Fang 48, Cup Guy API, Kankanshan Shui, Book Friends 1611222135011799, Daos Hung 123, Humor Tribe, and Yuwingzi. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1495. After communicating with lawyer Yu, Zhang Chen drove back to his company. When he got upstairs to the dynamic zone, he turned around the stairs. Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment. He saw Mr. Huang and Xiao Wu squatting on the flower bed and smoking. Seeing Zhang Chen coming, they both jumped off the flower bed and stood up. Mr. Huang smiled at Zhang Chen and said, I took Master Wu and asked him for advice. When our younger brothers came back, they all said that Master Wu is very powerful. He can beat several of them who are over 1.8 meters tall by himself. Zhang Chen smiled. Xiao Wu and Zhang Chen said, then I'm going to Jingxiu. Zhang Chen said yes. There's no need to go, Mr. Huang said. Master Wu, are you going to protect Mr. Tan? There's no need to go. I've investigated everything clearly. Mr. Lu has no other debts. Those people who were there that day are all here. Don't worry. None of them dared to look for trouble. The government and public security had already intervened in this matter, and a working group was stationed. Everyone could only follow the steps arranged by the working group. Whoever dares to look for trouble is not looking for trouble with Jingxiu, but rather without giving face to the government and public security. If he doesn't get the little money, he still has to live, so who dares to go? Zhang Chen listened and couldn't help but look at Mr. Huang with admiration. From just 2 simple conversations between him and Xiao Wu, this guy could understand that Xiao Wu went to Jingxiu to protect Tan Shahen. Moreover, he could also immediately take care of her. Things have been seen through and explained clearly. Zhang Chen nodded and told Xiao Wu that there was no need to go. Mr. Huang followed Zhang Chen into the office. Zhang Chen asked Mr. Huang to sit down. Mr. Huang sat down and said straight to the point. Mr. Zhang, don't you have a meeting in the afternoon? I will come over to communicate with you first. I can see this matter. The one who can really make the decision now is Mr. Zhang. It's not that Mr. Tan doesn't have this ability, but that she is obsessed with authority. Also, our strength does not allow us to do so. Nowadays, real estate companies are having a hard time. Most of the people who borrow money from us are real estate companies. To tell you the truth, I have also learned about Mr. Tan's company, and I know what I know. I just didn't expect that such a large company would have such tight cash flow now. But that's normal. It depends on the nature of the company. People who are engaged in real estate have a lot of money coming in and going out. Yesterday, money was leaking out, but today it has hit the bottom. I have seen too many. Zhang Chen remained calm and waited for him to continue. Mr. Huang asked. Mr. Zhang, do you have any ideas for the afternoon meeting? Zhang Chen smiled and asked, Mr. Huang, do you have any ideas? Haha, Mr. Huang laughed and said, okay, Mr. Zhang, if you ask me, I will tell you what I think. This is not my opinion, and I have not communicated it with other creditors. It's just that after so many years, I've seen this kind of thing a lot, and I've dealt with it a lot. Many creditors are very aggressive when they first come up and push the debtors to death. In the end, they bring down their company and they don't get a penny back. They are already broke, so they won't break up with you. Mr. Zhang, does what you say make sense to me? Zhang Chen said, it's interesting, please continue. So, the best way to deal with this kind of thing is for everyone to change their roles and think about it. Only by thinking clearly can the matter be done satisfactorily and the interests of all parties can be guaranteed to the greatest extent. Even after the matter is over, everyone can still be friends. As Mr. Huang spoke, he changed the subject and said, "Mr. Zhang, I have thought about this matter. For now, the best way to solve this matter is for you to purchase the debt at a discount." "What do you mean?" Zhang Chen asked. Mr. Huang said, "What you want to break is Mr. Liu's guarantee. It is unreasonable and impossible for Mr. Liu to bear all this money alone, so I think you can use part of the cash to give Mr. Liu the guarantee. They will buy it back with guarantee, and they can continue to look for the rest whoever they want." Zhang Chen was secretly surprised when he heard this. He didn't expect that this guy coincided with Lawyer Yu. Now that he has reached this point, Zhang Chen feels that he does not have to hide it. He and Mr. Huang said, "To be honest, we also want to propose a similar plan this afternoon." "Haha, that's really what heroes think alike." Mr. Huang smiled and said, his baby face was bright, contagious, and sincere when he smiled. For a moment, Zhang Chen was in a daze. He didn't believe that this guy was a loan shark. Aren't loan sharks all vicious men with green dragons tattooed on their arms? Mr. Huang said, "Mr. Zhang, can you tell me what proportion you are prepared to pay?" Zhang Chen said, 20%. Mr. Huang thought for a while and said, "It's almost the same. For a guarantee, this ratio is neither high nor low. However, there is a problem." "What's the problem?" Zhang Chen asked. "Can those Shaoxing people accept it?" Mr. Huang said. "I don't know," Zhang Chen said frankly. Mr. Huang smiled and said, "Whether you accept it or not depends on who will do the work and who will say these words. Coming from your mouth, these words will definitely be unconvincing. The final result will be just noise. After a while, they dispersed, waiting for the next time they come again, and then dispersed after another noisy period. This is what Zhang Chen is most worried about." Zhang Chen asked, "Mr. Huang, you have a lot of experience. Do you have any good suggestions?" Mr. Huang said that there was no suggestion. "Mr. Zhang probably forgot who I was, right?" Zhang Chen was surprised and asked, "Who are you?" "I am also a creditor, and I am one of the creditor representatives." "Mr. Zhang, think about it. If you tell me something, whose words are persuasive. Even though we broke up on bad terms, we still meet in private and communicate with each other. Phone call, Mr. Zhang, you don't have such an opportunity or possibility, do you?" Zhang Chen nodded. "Okay, Mr. Zhang, let me open the skylight and speak out." "I am confident that they will accept this 20%, Mr. Huang said. Zhang Chen understood immediately and asked, "Then what do you want?" Mr. Huang laughed and said, "Mr. Zhang is also a sensible person. He knows that he can't afford to be early if there is no profit. If we don't have other requirements, I won't come. My request is very simple, that is, the portion given to us is 100 yuan at the same time. This 40% must be our private transaction and cannot be known to others. Of course, in order to reassure Mr. Zhang that we will not trouble Mr. Liu again, we will also write something to show that we voluntarily give up the right to pursue Mr. Liu, and it is permanent." Zhang Chen thought about it in his mind. If he said this, it would be equivalent to spending an extra 20 million to completely solve this matter. He felt that what Mr. Huang said was reasonable and the requirements he raised were not too high. Still within the acceptable range. The most important thing is that he does not seem to be bragging. He seems to have the ability and wisdom to persuade other people. Zhang Chen said, "Yes, as long as you can convince them to accept this condition, I will agree to your request." "Okay, then we have an agreement. If we can't convince them, I will be embarrassed to take the money," Mr. Huang said. Zhang Chen said yes, it was a deal. "By the way, Mr. Zhang, when you proposed this plan this afternoon, you said that your bottom line is to pay 10%, Mr. Huang said. Why? Zhang Chen asked. You say 10%, and everyone takes a step back, and in the end it's 20%. If you say 20% from the beginning, and everyone takes a step back, you have to compromise to 30% in the end. Solve. Zhang Chen understood and said yes. Mr. Huang stood up to say goodbye and left with satisfaction. He felt that his goal had been achieved. Their actual expenditure for this money was 90 million. If they could get 40 million from Zhang Chen and the others, there would still be 50 million left. Lao Ni's office building and airplane were in their hands. The most important thing was that he and Zhang Chen had a private deal, so the lawsuit was still based on 100 million. In the end, after the court's judgment and disposal, what they can get will definitely be more than 50 million. The bottom line is that they can protect their capital. If they use their connections, they can still make money from this business. After Mr. Huang left, Zhang Chen called Lawyer Yu and told Lawyer Yu everything about Mr. Huang's visit and what he said. Lawyer Yu said that it was good. If he could serve as a flanker, this matter could be solved. Lawyer Yu, does the promise he wrote have legal effect? Zhang Chen asked. Yes, Lawyer Yu said, this is their right. They can sue the borrower and the guarantor at the same time, or they can sue the borrower or the guarantor separately. It is his right to give up suing the guarantor. This letter of commitment, it is effective. Zhang Chen said yes, so I feel relieved. At the afternoon meeting, Lawyer Yu proposed a plan to acquire security rights. All creditors agreed with this method and had no objections. However, everyone had strong opinions on the proportion of the acquisition. Sure enough, as Mr. Huang expected, as soon as Lawyer Yu proposed the 10% ratio, the conference room exploded. Creditors expressed that they could not accept it, saying that this ratio was too low and impossible. Some people say that even if we agree, those who did not come to the meeting will not agree, and we have no way to convince them. That's right, people on the side agreed, 10%, isn't this a joke? I only got 17 million from here, and the rest has to go to Nizhijan and that Nanjing man. Nanjing is so far away, and we don't know what's going on with that man. That is, traveling to Nanjing every day is worse than traveling to Hangzhou every day. Someone said. No, no, we absolutely cannot accept this ratio, Mr. Huang shouted. Director Miao was sitting there, and he saw that everyone was almost arguing. The creditors just didn't accept this ratio, but they didn't have their own plan. Director Miao cleared his throat, raised his voice and said. Okay, everyone, be quiet and listen to what I have to say. Everyone fell silent and looked at him. Director Miao continued. It seems that everyone agrees on the plan to acquire the security rights. The only objection is the proportion of the acquisition. Am I right? All the creditors nodded. In this case, our meeting today is still fruitful. It is a crucial first step. Everyone has reached an agreement on the method of disposing of claims and debts. As for the proportion of acquisitions, I don't think you will know it today. There is a result that needs to be discussed with the creditors who did not come. So, our meeting ends here today. After all your creditors go back, we will discuss it carefully and come up with a common result. We will still have a meeting here next Thursday afternoon, and you creditors will increase the proportion you request. Come out and see if Mr. Tan and the others can accept it. That's it for today, let's break up the meeting. Everyone stood up and walked outside one after another. Mr. Huang quietly made an okay gesture to Zhang Chen, meaning that the next step is left to me. Thank you Stinky Socks, have a safe trip, book friend 120421012323923, book friend 201901042017583118, book friend 1302211840471110 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life. The Pentium era, south to north. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1496. A group of people went out together and walked to the parking lot. 5 people from Shaoxing were about to get in the car. Mr. Huang said, "You have to ask for money, and you have to eat. When we get to Hangzhou, I will be the master. Let's go, I will treat you to a meal, and we will eat together." While chatting, the Shaoxing people said that Mr. Huang was too polite. "It's just a meal, what's the point of being polite? We are all friends. Next time I go to Shaoxing, you can treat me to a meal." Mr. Huang said, let's go to the Sentinel Seafood not far ahead. "You guys." The car followed me. Shaoxing people say yes, it is better to obey orders than to be respectful. Everyone got in the car together. Mr. Wang's car was in front. 5 Shaoxing people came from Shaoxing in 2 cars. Their cars followed Mr. Huang. After exiting Qiaxi Academy, turn right on Dixie Road at the entrance. In just 2 or 3 minutes, you will arrive at Qingchun Road. After another 3 or 4 minutes of driving, you will arrive at the end of Qingchun Overpass. Don't go on the bridge. On your right is the Arc de Triomphe building, Sentinel Seafood. On the 2nd floor of the podium of the Arc de Triomphe building, there is a large parking lot on the 1st floor. It is lunchtime, and there are security guards directing and guiding cars in and out. They parked the car in the parking lot and walked towards the hotel door. The greeter at the door knew Mr. Huang. He led them upstairs with a smile and led them into a private room on the 2nd floor. Outside the floor-to-ceiling glass of the private room was the Qing dynasty spring overpass. After sitting down, the host and guest gave in, and it was Mr. Huang who ordered the dishes. Mr. Huang quickly ordered the dishes and the Gai Longshan wine with rice. Shaoxing people, of course, want to drink wine with rice. In Hangzhou in early November, it is the time when there are wind and rain and coolness, and the temperature turns from hot to cold. It is just right to add warm rice and wine with seafood. The 6 people chatted while drinking, and soon they talked about the current economic environment. People in Shaoxing say that life is really bad now. Our companies in Shaoxing are all dying, including Yuan Boran's Zhejiang Zongheng, Hongkaihua's 5-ring spandex, and Hualien Sangzhen, the largest PTA manufacturer in Asia and the largest printing and dyeing company in the country. Zhonglong Group, together with Nizhijian's Dahua Chemical Fiber, and several large companies that we can count in Shaoxing have all collapsed. They are all the same. Feo sewing machine in Taizhou was so famous that it failed. Mr. Huang said, "For our enterprises in Zhejiang, whether it is bank loans or private financing, they are all guaranteed by the chain, forming a guarantee circle. In this circle, as long as one company fails, the others will follow. Nowadays, banks are all crazy. If a company fails, they will immediately check to see which companies have mutual insurance relationships with it. No matter whether your company is good or bad, they will do everything possible to collect the loan in advance. If several banks act together, which one? The only company that can withstand such pressure is your bank. If everyone who has deposited money comes to run on it, you won't be able to bear it. Yes, right now, the local governments are at odds with the banks and do not allow banks to collect loans in advance." Shaoxing people said. The Yuo municipal government has done even better. They have set up a special fund, it seems to be 500 million. Those banks don't just like to deceive companies into repaying loans. They promise other companies that they will lend you money again immediately after repayment. It turned around, but after the company paid it back, it stopped lending again. The money for the company's loan repayment is all cobbled together. It is agreed that it will be used for a few days. Your bank withdraws the loan like this and the money cannot be withdrawn. The company still complains. The Yuwu city government now simply provides a loan if it needs it. For companies that have turned around, you don't need to collect the money to repay the loan. You can apply directly to this fund, and they will help you turn around and pay it back to the bank. Mr. Huang laughed as he spoke, then the bank is dumbfounded. This is government money. How dare he not lend you this money again as promised? If he doesn't lend it to you, the bank won't want it staying in you. Whoa. Yes, that's the case now. People in Shaoxing said that now the government is doing everything possible to protect enterprises. They are really helping enterprises. In Shaoxing, it seems that the government also specially spends money to purchase non-performing loans from banks so that you can lend to enterprises with confidence. It is difficult for enterprises, but it is even more difficult for us. Some people from Shaoxing said that if we have some money in Shaoxing, we usually lend it to companies for use. By this time, they are all ruined. Thinking about how big those companies are, they will fail even if they say they will. I really unfortunately, not only Nizhijan has it, but as mentioned earlier, UN Boran's Zonghong Group, I also have 80 million. What about your money now? Mr. Huang asked. How is it? Alas, the Shaoxing native side, the creditors' rights are registered with the working group, and we are waiting for bankruptcy and reorganization. God knows when and how much can be arranged. Anyway, we will definitely lose money. It's a big loss, the person next to me said. I'm the same at Wuhan Spandex. Another person sighed. It's true when you think about it. You can't tell by looking at it. It's hard to guard against. This Nizhijan, I've been dealing with him for more than 10 years, and he always tells the truth. When will the money be paid back to you? Go ahead and you won't be late for even a minute. I didn't expect that this time. I still fell into the mud. No one can imagine it, someone said. Look at Zhijan. He drives a car, and he owns an airplane. He sponsors here and donates money there, and he doesn't know how much money he has to donate. Unexpectedly, he still says it. Mr. Huang said, this kind of thing is unthinkable. We don't know how much we have suffered. This time it was relatively good. We were able to find someone and they promised to pay back the money. From my point of view, if you can get the money, take it as soon as possible. This real estate company may fail at a moment's notice, so take it as soon as possible before it fails. That's what I say, but this ratio, 10%, is too low. Can you accept this? Asked Mr. Huang from Shaoxing. Of course it's impossible. Didn't I just say at the meeting that this ratio is too low and we can't accept it? Mr. Huang said, on this point, we must all work together. If we can raise it a little, then it will be fine. It's money, right? Everyone in Shaoxing nodded and said yes. In my opinion, 1 borrower, 2 guarantors, 3,131, we will ask him for 30%, and for the rest of the money, we will go to Zhijan and the Nanjing man for it, someone said. Mr. Huang thought for a while and said, this should be difficult. When the money goes out, at this time, let's be realistic. We don't think that we can come back 100%. If we can come back at 50, 60, 70, or 80, that's enough, etc. Let me see. As Mr. Huang said, he took out his iPhone and looked through it. It's broken, he shouted. What's wrong, Mr. Huang? Someone from Shaoxing asked. I'm looking at the Jinxia Group stock, Mr. Huang said. Yesterday it was more than 9 yuan, but today it's only more than 7 yuan. If it continues to fall like this, it will kill people. If they fall to death, we won't be able to get the money. Arrive. When Mr. Huang said this, everyone's faces immediately showed a trace of worry. Mr. Huang was also worried. After a while, he said, you go back and make it clear to those who didn't come that this matter cannot be postponed. There must be a result next Thursday. Moreover, once the result is obtained, we will ask him to chop it now and pay the money immediately. It will be a long night and a lot of dreams. Everyone in Shaoxing nodded, feeling that Mr. Wang's words were reasonable. By the way, that guy from Nanjing, Do you know what he does? Mr. Huang asked. The Shaoxing man shook his head and said he didn't know, but he seemed to be in the real estate business. You are too courageous. Mr. Huang shook his head. You don't know anything about it. How dare you borrow money from outside? The Shaoxing people were a little embarrassed and said, it's not Zhijian. We know Ni's Zhijian. The money was lent to him. The guarantee was just a form. Who would think so much? They also thought about it when they borrowed it. They must also be Zhijian when they repay the money in the future. Gang, no, Ni's Zhijian ran away and couldn't be found, so we looked for these two guarantors. Fortunately, Mr. Huang said, we have 3 insurances this time. This man named Meng is not a big hollow carrot. Do you want to know his situation? The Shaoxing people nodded quickly. At this time, no one wants to know. This man named Meng, you are right. He is indeed engaged in real estate, and he is not an ordinary real estate developer. He owns the 2 tallest buildings in Nanjing. The tallest building in Nanjing is now 57 floors. The Asia-Pacific business building belongs to him, Mr. Huang said. Moreover, both buildings are doing well now and business is booming. Mr. Huang, do you know this well? Someone asked. Of course, it's not as easy for me to make money as you do. All I earn is hard-earned money. If I don't understand clearly, how can I dare to borrow it? Mr. Huang said. People in Shaoxing laughed. Some people said, look at what Mr. Huang said, our money is also hard-earned money. Some people say that we don't understand. Didn't you, Mr. Huang, help us understand? I heard Mr. Huang say that the people of Shaoxing were a little happy that the other guarantor was so powerful. Mr. Huang spoke so kindly to Meng Ping just to make them happy. In fact, Meng Ping did not guarantee his loan and had nothing to do with Meng Ping. He was saying good things about Meng Ping to bury the hatchet for the people of Shaoxing. I just hope that even if Jingxiu takes a little less, it doesn't matter. Isn't there still Lao Ni and that Nanjing guy who can chase me? Here in Jingxiu, everyone just wants something fast, that is, to get the money quickly and recover some losses first. He won't say this today, but in the next few days, he will repeatedly instill this idea into them on the phone. He can't let them see that he is in a hurry or that he is standing on the side of Tan Shahen and Zhang Chen. On their side. Mr. Huang, what do you think? We should tell them next Thursday what proportion we want, someone asked. Yes, we need to reach a consensus on this. When we go back, we can talk to those who didn't come, someone agreed. Do you really want to listen to my opinion? Mr. Huang asked. Mr. Huang, tell me. In my opinion, first of all, we can't open our mouths too much. If we can't open our mouths, we have to pay 30%. After all, people from the city government are present and they are coordinating. If the people in the government think that we are not clear, after all this time, we still dare to demand exorbitant prices to blackmail companies, then they will feel that we have no sincerity in solving the problem, and that will cause trouble. If the people in the city government completely side with the other party, then we will be able to suffer a lot. If nothing else, if he drags us day by day, we will be dragged to death. Let's sit down today and say a few words. Just say we'll talk about it next week. When next week comes, we say a few words and push it to next week. What should we do? Let me tell you, at that time, we couldn't even go to court to sue. This incident happened in Hangzhou, and the borrower and guarantor were both in Hangzhou. Just ask a lawyer to find out. Even in Shaoxing, even if we sued in court, we could not sue. Even if we sued, there was an objection to jurisdiction and there was still a plaintiff and defendant, so we took it back to the Hangzhou court. Who do you think the courts in Hangzhou should listen to, us or the city government? Are they dragging us to death in the same way? The Shaoxing people thought it made sense and nodded repeatedly. So, we have to take control of this matter ourselves, Mr. Huang said. Our bottom line is 20%. If we raise it to 25% when the time comes, the government people will not. If you think we are going too far, we will give the other party a room for bargaining. Well, anyway, if you pay back 20%, we will not give in any more. Okay, let's do it, someone shouted, and others nodded. Thank you to Book Friends 201712021524072991, Gongzimayanzi, and Book Friends 202102261054444110 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good night everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1497. Bad news spread like wildfire. Reporters didn't know where they got the news. Newspapers in mainland China and the mainland, especially on the internet, began to spread the news that Lu Ligan, chairman of Splendid China Holdings Group, was involved. 1.63 billion, which is a loan shark, and Lu Ligan is now missing and absconding in fear of crime. Splendid China's stock price began to plummet, from more than 7 yuan to more than 3 yuan. The reporters blocked Tan Shuhen in the company, and Tan Shuhen had to come out to face them and held a press conference. At the press conference, she honestly told everyone that Chairman Lu is indeed unreachable now, but he has not been involved in any criminal cases, and there is no problem of absconding in fear of crime. The company is currently operating normally, and we at the Hangzhou City government, with the support of Chairman Lu, we are actively handling matters related to Chairman Lu. After Tan Shuhen's press conference, the stock price temporarily stabilized, but it only stabilized for one day. The next day, news began to appear on the internet that Splendid China's capital chain was about to break. Immediately afterwards, even more unfavorable news came out. It was said that Splendid China's largest indirect holder of corporate bonds, relevant people from Taiwan's Fubon Financial Holdings, confirmed that they were considering asking Splendid China to redeem their bonds in advance according to the agreement. Corporate bonds held. Shockingly, Splendid China's stock price completely collapsed, falling to more than $60, and even fell to $0.43 during the session. Good night, Splendid China, this is the title of the Hong Kong financial media. Good night, go to bed early in Cantonese means good night, early rest in Cantonese. This means that Splendid China can see you again and go to sleep. It is true that the share price of Splendid China Holdings Group Co., Limited is on the verge of being delisted from the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Zhang Chen remembered that Xiao Fang was a professional. He called Xiao Fang and asked her what to do. Xiao Fang asked, "Brother-in-law, don't you want to see Splendid China fall?" "Of course I don't want to. That's your brother's company, and Tan Shuhen, Old Tan, and Yao Fen are all our family members. If the company collapses, what will they do? If your sister were here, she would definitely not want to see her. If it weren't for Brother Tan, Gangzi, and Meng Ping, who helped us in our most difficult time, what would have happened later would have happened. Maybe your sister and I would have been together long ago. He has been hacked to death in Haikan by the underworld," Zhang Chen and Xiao Fang said. "I understand, brother-in-law." Xiao Fang thought for a while and said to Zhang Chen, "Now there are two ways to support the stock price. First, raise a sum of funds and let Sister Shuhen and Brother Lao Tan announce that the company's management will increase their holdings of the company's shares. The market is all about reality, not virtual reality. Yes, it's useless to just say that the company is operating normally. The management's increase in holdings is a clear signal to the market that they have confidence in their company." Zhang Chen said, "Yes, I will talk to Tan Shuhen and the others, and they will definitely agree." "What about the second method?" "The second way is to find funds and persuade them to buy a large amount of Splendid China stocks. This will prop up the stocks. Zhang Chen said yes, let's do it. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Chen immediately went to Tan Shahan's company and told them Xiaofang's opinions. The company secretary immediately drafted a company announcement. At the same time, Tan Shahan and the others also contacted the managers of each branch by phone to finalize the management overweight. Zhang Chen lent Tan Shahan 70 million. In addition to her own money, Tan Shahan increased her holdings by 100 million shares, Lao Tan increased his holdings by 40 million shares, and the general managers of each branch and the middle management of the company increased their holdings by 6 million to 10 million shares respectively, ranging from 15 million shares. Zhang Chen told Xiaofang about this, and Xiaofang said, I have implemented it here, and we will start working together from the day after tomorrow, Monday the day after tomorrow. After calling Xiaofang, Mr. Huang arrived at Zhang Chen's place. Zhang Chen told him about Tan Shahan's decision to increase their stake in the company. Upon hearing this, Mr. Huang quickly said, Stop, stop, stop quickly. Zhang Chen looked at Mr. Huang in confusion and asked, What's wrong? The current situation is beneficial to the meeting next Thursday. The worse the company is, the more those Shaoxing people will agree to accept the 20% condition. If you do this now, the Shaoxing people will look at it and you will all, if you have money to buy stocks, why don't you give us a little more? Isn't this troublesome? Zhang Chen was shocked when he heard what Mr. Huang said. It was really like this. Fortunately, Mr. Huang came at this time. The Shaoxing people and I have basically reached an agreement. We must resolve this matter next Thursday. If you want to do this, wait until Friday. If you don't care about waiting for these few days, just let it continue to fall. Yes, the lower it falls, the better it is for you. At the same time, when you enter the market, isn't the cost still low? Mr. Huang said. When Zhang Chen heard this, he realized that Mr. Huang's words made sense. He quickly picked up the phone and called Xiaofang and told her about the matter. Xiaofang said, Okay, we will postpone the action for a week. Zhang Chen agreed, and then he called Tan Shahan and asked her to postpone it for a week. Splendid China stock has continued to fall since Monday, falling to more than 40 cents, and has become a junk stock. On Wednesday, Mr. Huang called the people in Shaoxing and asked them how things were going there. The people in Shaoxing said that they basically agreed, but there were two people who couldn't explain it. They thought 20% was too low. Is there something wrong with them? Mr. Huang scolded. You asked them to take a look at Splendid China stock. Now it has dropped to more than 40 cents Hong Kong dollars. What does more than 40 cents Hong Kong dollars mean? It means that this company is about to be finished. Tomorrow, if we can't get it done, we may not get a dime by next week, and everyone is waiting for Splendid to go bankrupt and liquidate. In bankruptcy and liquidation, the construction company's project funds, company employees' wages, etc. will all have priority. When they get us, there will be no scum left. The more Mr. Huang talked, the angrier he became. He cursed, What time has it been and you still can't figure it out? I won't care about you tomorrow. I don't care whether we can negotiate or not. Even if it's 10%, I'll take it tomorrow. The money has left, you just wait to find the liquidation team. When the Shaoxing people heard this, they panicked. They quickly told Mr. Huang, Mr. Huang, Mr. Huang, don't be angry. We don't even know that their broken company's stock has fallen like this. Let those two bastards go and see for themselves, Mr. Huang said. Okay, Mr. Huang, we will tell them immediately, please wait for our call. 10 minutes later, someone from Shaoxing called and told Mr. Huang that he agreed. Everyone here agreed. As Mr. Huang said, 20% was the minimum limit. Let all of them come tomorrow. Mr. Huang said, if we can negotiate well at the meeting, I will ask them to pay all the money tomorrow. You must support me. Tomorrow will be Thursday, and the day after tomorrow will be Friday. If put it off until next week, then maybe the agreement will be invalidated tomorrow, and they won't be able to pay even if they want to. Okay, if you have money, no one will go. They will definitely arrive tomorrow. Also, we will definitely support you. When the time comes, we will all ask for it. 20% is fine, but the money must be paid immediately, Shaoxing native explained. After hanging up the phone from Shaoxing, Mr. Huang dialed Zhang Chen's phone and said to him, "I've got it done here. Tomorrow, we will propose 25%. You insisted on refusing and the two sides were in a stalemate. In the end, I will," he said, 20 is fine, but you must pay immediately and go through the formalities immediately. Zhang Chen said yes. Mr. Zhang, we will end this matter tomorrow, Mr. Huang and Zhang Chen said. In the afternoon of the next day, Director Miao presided over the continuation of the meeting. 7 or 8 cars from Shaoxing arrived, and other people were waiting in the car. 5 representatives went to the conference room. At the beginning of the meeting, Director Miao asked the creditor representatives, "Have you come up with the agreed ratio? The people of Shaoxing have spoken out and our requirement is 25%. Lawyer Yu immediately objected. He said, "It's impossible. 25% is beyond our capabilities. Everyone should show sincerity." Director Miao said, "Mr. Tan, tell me, what is the maximum limit you can bear?" Tan Shahen stood up and said, "Then we need to discuss it." Director Miao nodded. Tan Shahen walked out with Lao Tan, Lawyer Yu, and Zhang Chen. When they came back 10 minutes later, Lawyer Yu and Director Miao said that the limit we could bear was 15%. The Shaoxing people immediately started to explode, saying that this ratio was unacceptable, and we would definitely not agree to it. No, 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 this would not work. Director Miao sat there, waiting until they were all noisy. Director Miao raised his hands, pressed them downwards, and said, "You all listen to me." Everyone shut up and looked at him. "This is a good thing." Director Miao smiled, "You two are one step closer, right?" Director Miao's position is at the head of the conference table. On both sides of the conference table, Mr. Huang and 5 people from Shaoxing are sitting on one side, and on the other side, Tan Shahen, Zhang Chen, and 4 others are sitting. Director Miao looked to his left and said, "Your creditor's current request is 25%. He then looked to the right and said, "Mr. Tan, what you proposed is 15%. There is a 10% gap in the middle. What to do with the 10% gap? I think it is both easy and difficult to handle. The difficulty is that you both can continue to hold your own opinions and quarrel endlessly, and we will come back to meetings again and again, wasting time in meaningless quarrels. What can be done easily? That is for both of you to show sincerity in solving the problem. In my opinion, both of you will give in to this matter, just 20%. What do you think?" After Director Miao finished speaking, the two sides came together and started whispering. When he raised his head, Mr. Huang looked at Director Miao and said, "Leader, we just discussed it, 20% is fine, but we have a condition." "What conditions?" Director Miao asked. "That means we have to pay it today and go through the formalities today. We don't want the money to be exchanged for chicken feathers for sugar again. We have to beg for it once and get a piece of it." Director Miao turned to Tan Shahen and asked, "Mr. Tan, what do you think?" "In my opinion, the other party's request is very reasonable. Why don't we settle this matter today?" Tan Shahen said, "Yes, we will listen to the leader." Zhao Jingjing was already at Yao Fen's place next door with her laptop and USB shield. Zhang Chen called her over. The Shaoxing people also called in the creditors who were waiting in the car outside. After Zhao Jingjing made a payment, the creditors came. He signed the commitment letter prepared by Lawyer Yu in advance. The Shaoxing people took the money and said to Mr. Huang with a smile, "Okay, things are now clear here. Let's go back to find Nizhijan and dig 3 feet into the ground to find him. After all the people from Shaoxing left, Zhao Jingjing gave the last 40 million to Mr. Huang. Mr. Huang took out a piece of paper, signed it, stamped it with the official seal and Mr. Qin's legal person seal, and handed it to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen handed it to Zhang Chen. I gave it to Lawyer Yu. After reading it, Lawyer Yu said, "Okay. Oh, things here are finally done. Mr. Zhang, I need to go to your lakeside oil painting studio to clear my mind. Let's have dinner together if we have a chance." Mr. Huang held Zhang Chen's hand and talked to him with a smile. Thank you to the 48-year-old Xiaosheng and book friend 1505171952079441 for the reward. Thank you for your monthly votes from Xiaosheng Nian Fang 48, and Hao, book friends 201701130912185553, Xiao Baba, Huangpu issue 20, and book friends 202009111601097550. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. My mistake, the serial numbers of the previous chapters were all messed up. I only discovered it after someone pointed it out. I changed it today. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1498. A week passed, and on Monday, splendid China stocks began to rebound. Xiaofang and Tan Shahan began to buy a large amount of splendid China stocks. At the same time, the company's announcement on the management's increase in shareholding was also issued, adding fuel to the fire. On this day, splendid China stock rose sharply, from more than 40 cents in Hong Kong dollars at the opening to 2.1 cents at the closing price. The next day, Jinxia Company issued another announcement, saying that the economic dispute involving Chairman Liu had been completely resolved. The reason why this news was not announced yesterday was because we followed Xiaofang's suggestion. Xiaofang said that a table of good dishes cannot be served at the same time. If served at the same time, the eater will not know what to eat. It must be served together. To be honest, if there is an announcement on Monday and another announcement on Tuesday, this means that the company's good news continues to stimulate investors, and their confidence will return. Sure enough, after Tuesday's announcement, splendid China stock surged again, rising back to more than 5 yuan. In just 2 days, splendid China stock doubled more than 10 times. Finally reaching a safe area, splendid China does not need to break up early. Tan Shahan and Lao Tan both breathed a sigh of relief. Tan Shahan and Zhang Chen said, "I shed a layer of skin, but I am lucky enough to survive." "Thank you Zhang Chen, and thank you Xiaofang." Zhang Chen waved his hand. Lao Tan smiled and said, "Now the Pole can come back." Tan Shahan scolded, "Wait until he comes back and see if I don't deal with him properly." Lao Tan smiled and asked, "How do you clean it up?" Zhang Chen also smiled and said, "Tan Shahan, what you said to me sounds like something only a wife would say to her husband." Lao Tan laughed, he was right, most people wouldn't say it. Tan Shahan looked at them, speechless, and finally cursed, "If he were my husband, I would definitely divorce him this time." Zhang Chen called Qianfang and told her that the matter here was over. "How is it going with you over there?" Qianfang said there was no movement yet. Zhang Chen thought for a while and said, "That may be because they can't take care of it. They are probably focusing on finding Lao Ni now. If they find Lao Ni and don't ask for the full amount of money, they will go to Nanjing. You should be careful." Qianfang said, "Okay, I understand. By the way, everything on your side has been resolved." "Is there any news about the Pole?" Qianfang asked. "No, we were talking just now." "Is there any news about Mengping?" Zhang Chen asked. Qianfang said, "No." After hanging up the phone, Zhang Chen dialed Lu Ligan and Mengping. As before, the two people's calls were still unreachable. And it continues to fail. Lao Ni himself didn't know how many days he had been sleeping in the car. After the incident came out, Lao Ni knew that he couldn't handle this. Those people in Shaoxing would definitely go to the company, and several other people in Shaoxing. A friend's company collapsed at about the same time as him. This time, due to one or another reason, Lao Ni had heard about the tragic situation of the collapse. If you ask for money once, your friends won't have to do it. If you ask for money twice, even relatives won't have to do it. Creditors who can't get money will definitely become more and more angry and will definitely hit them. Lao Ni knew that some people could not stand being chased and beaten every day, so they went to the Public Security Bureau to surrender, claiming that they had illegally raised funds. It is better to go to jail than to be chased and beaten every day. The detention center has become a safe house for them. Undecided, thinking about the pain, Lao Ni thought that each of these enterprises in Shaoxing seemed to be living like a giant. In fact, they were born with defects and acquired insufficient nutrition. They did not have the management mechanisms and concepts of modern enterprises, let alone there is no awareness of risk management and control, and they do not know that when a company reaches a certain scale, it is more important to move steadily than to move fast. It is not surprising that such an enterprise would become more beautiful than the trees in the forest, and the wind will destroy it whenever there is any disturbance. Lao Ni no longer dares to call himself a master, and he cannot say that practices are higher than people. Everyone must be wrong, but he has lived a high-profile life in recent years, and many people are happy to see him suffer misfortune. This is for sure. But by the time Lao Ni understood this, the stage that belonged to him was gone. Not only is the stage that belongs to him gone, but the women who belong to him are also gone. These women have made Lao Ni the talk of the town over the years, and they have also become the objects of public contempt and private envy of many men. After learning that something happened to Lao Ni, his women quickly broke off their relationship with him and refused to let him come to their home. They were worried that debt collectors would follow them to their home and they would be in trouble. The most shocking one was Menjeo. That day, Lao Ni just told her that she had lost all her money and still owed more than 1 billion to others. When she would no longer have any money to give them, Menjeo scolded her. She said to Lao Ni, "Go to hell. If you die, at least my son and I will be safe. No one will find us. Otherwise, I will be like now, frightened every day. If someone knocks on the door, I don't dare to open it. I'm afraid it will be open. The door is the one who comes to you." FIFA, I said on the side, "What if these people come and refuse to leave? What if they stay here and wait for you? What can we do with 2 women and 2 children? Menjeo continued to scold, "Every day now, I don't even have to worry about the nanny taking my son to and from school. I'm worried that someone will know that this is your son and it will be bad for him. You go away, or you die, or stay as far away from us as possible, don't bother us." FIFA, I was crying on the side. What she was scolding was, "There is no money anymore. Whatever you asked our mother and daughter to do, we have been killed by you. I am neither old nor young. I don't know anything. It is difficult to find another job, I want to find another man, and I also have a prostitute. I don't know why I was obsessed with you at that time, so I followed you." Lao Ni left them in panic and went to several other places. They were all the same and turned him away. Jiao Jiao was the most conscientious and opened the door, but the chain on the door without taking it off to prevent him from entering. She handed Lao Ni a wad of money through the open slit and asked him to stay in the hotel. But how dare Lao Ni stay in a hotel? From that day on, Lao Ni lived in a car every day. One advantage of being in a car was that at least when he found traces of debt collectors, he could quickly drive away. Lao Ni parked his car on a small road in Qianzhong New Town. The roads here have been built, but the land next to it is still empty. There is no construction on site. There are still people parked there in the middle of construction. The entire Jianjiang River, there are many such empty and untraveled roads in the new city. Lao Ni parked his car here because he felt it was the safest. He didn't dare to drive into the city unless necessary. They said the road was narrow and he might be seen by debt collectors in the city. These debt collectors were not just looking for him, Lao Ni. They also entrusted many people from society to look for him. Lao Ni had a friend in Zuji who was found by these friends from society. Brought back to Shaoxing. Lao Ni is not that stupid. He will not go to the counties below. He knows that the more people there are, the better he can hide. Moreover, the public security in Hangzhou is much better than below. Those people in society, in Hangzhou, it is not so rampant and unscrupulous. Lao Ni's car was parked on a remote road in Qianjiang New Town. He didn't dare to park in one place all the time for fear that he would be discovered if he parked for a long time. Even for the sanitation workers who come and go every day, Lao Ni is a little wary of them. If they find a car parked in this remote place and has not moved for several days, and there is a person in the car, and they become suspicious, will they call the police? Lao Ni is not sure either. Lao Ni can only stop here today, there tomorrow, here in the morning, and there in the afternoon. Fortunately, the entire Qianjiang new city is big enough, but the development is far from sufficient. There are many such small roads. Every day when he wakes up, Lao Ni goes to the public restroom to wash his face, brush his teeth, and eats biscuits and mineral water when he is hungry. Sometimes it is difficult to swallow, or a bird appears in his mouth, so Lao Ni drives to Jianjiang River. At Senbao or Wangjiangmen on the edge of the new city, park your car far away on the roadside. Walk over, pick a seat in a small restaurant with your back to the gate, and eat a bowl of noodles in a hurry. Back in the car, Lao Ni quickly drove back to Qianjiang New Town and found a small road to stop. When he got here, Lao Ni felt relieved. After staying here for a while, Lao Ni felt that Qianjiang New Town, these secluded lanes, are like his home. After 4 or 5 days, when his body felt really uncomfortable, Lao Ni would go to a small hotel, take a shower and leave in a hurry, never daring to stay. He knew that those professional debt collectors in the society had a wide range of connections, and they could pass through the passengers' hotel. Information was found. Lao Ni must have already left when they were still on the road, even if they found him. Lao Ni didn't dare to go to the same small hotel every time. He was afraid that someone would squat there, waiting for him to fall into a trap. He didn't even dare to go to the bathing center. He was afraid that he would be caught by the police during an inspection. He didn't know if he had already registered with the police. What he was even more afraid of was that the bathing center was the favorite place for those people in society. A place to stay. Lao Ni came out from the shower in a small hotel. As he walked, he lowered his head and looked in both directions to make sure no one was staring at him. Then Lao Ni walked to the car parked 20 or 30 meters away, got in the car and went to the car. Driving in the direction of Qianjiang New Town, when passing an underground parking lot, Lao Ni thought about it and turned in. Lao Ni parked the car in the parking lot, picked up his mobile phone, and installed the battery. Lao Ni knew that people in society are now using their mobile phones to locate people. It is said that it is useless to even turn off the phone. They have to take off the battery. Okay, so Lao Ni always removes the battery from his cell phone unless he has to make a call. He didn't dare to make a phone call in Qianjiang New City, for fear that those people would know that he was staying in Qianjiang New City. He could only call in an underground parking lot like this. By the time they located him and found this place, he would have already left. And it can also make those people mistakenly think that he lives in the houses upstairs. After installing the battery, Lao Ni turned on the phone and found his daughter's number. As soon as the call came through, his daughter started crying on the phone. "Sweetie, what have you done to end up owing so much money? The debt collectors robbed all the warehouses in the factory and blocked all the accounts. They even went to Mu's mother. My mother gave them all her money, but they still refused to give up. They even went to see my mother-in-law, Grandma, who is almost 90 years old. What kind of evil has she done? Is your majesty okay? Lao Ni asked. I get poked in the back and scolded every day. Some people even blocked the door and scolded me. Do you think it will be okay? Where's the factory? How's the factory doing now? You also asked the factory, what can be done in the factory? Production has stopped a long time ago. The workers are clamoring for wages every day. Where can I get the money and send it to them? If the work team from the town hadn't come in, even the machines would be required. After being extorted by debt collectors, 17 or 18 court notices were posted at the factory door, and a group of people gathered around them every day, looking at them as if they were looking at a peep show. I don't even dare to come to work. I can't afford to embarrass this person. The work team still doesn't agree. I must cooperate with them to deal with the aftermath. Deal with the aftermath. They will deal with my funeral in 2 days. Now life is really worse than death. Lao Ni hung up the phone and took out the battery. He felt that his vision was a little blurry and he could only stay for a while longer. Lao Ni borrowed more than 1.5 billion this time from more than a dozen creditors, but in fact, the money was not all theirs. They collected it from their relatives and family members, and they just concentrated it on them and borrowed it again. For Lao Ni, if this spreads, I don't know how many people and families there are. Among the dozen or so people this time, 3 were from Lao Ni's village. When these people spread out, Lao Ni didn't know how many people he owed money to in the village. Those who blocked his home and scolded his mother must be these people. My daughter is right, what a sin. Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes at around 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you Rabuloi, Dauduo, Kankanshanshui, Book Friends 201707241126511879, Readers 11963189776326411024, Hurricane 0669, Shi Yitan, Zi Zhang said for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1499. Zhang Chen was sitting in the office, and Tan Shuhen came in. After she came in, she didn't say hello to Zhang Chen. She went straight to the sofa and sat down, and then looked at Zhang Chen blankly. What's wrong, Tan Shuhen, isn't your company's stock still rising today? Why are you keeping a straight face and pretending to be serious? Zhang Chen asked. It will fall soon, plummet, Tan Shuhen said. Zhang Chen was startled and quickly asked, why? Tan Shuhen did not answer why, but said, Zhang Chen, is there any way you can find Lu Ligan? He hid whenever he wanted and was too lazy to look for him. Anyway, he is fine now. I am worried about Meng Ping, Zhang Chen said. It's okay, to put it lightly, you find him, I'm going to skin him and beat his tendons, Tan Shuhen said. Zhang Chen burst into laughter and said, what hatred? Tan Shuhen, you can't do this, you can't do this. Tan Shuhen looked at Zhang Chen and nodded, okay, she said, I really want to peel off his skin and slap his tendons now. He has caused misery to all of us, including Xiao Fang. We will all be killed by him. What on earth are you talking about? Zhang Chen asked. Tomorrow, MSCAI from Fubon Financial Holdings and Mr. Chiao from Shenzhen Angzhen Trust are coming, Tan Shuhen said, and Zhang Chen was shocked when he heard this. You damn Comer is evil, Zhang Chen blurted out. People just don't do good things, Tan Shuhen said, just like the song in the play, it's like one wave after another. Zhang Chen, I really don't know how to deal with it. I want to surrender with both hands, useless. Everyone knows that when Miss CAI and Mr. Chiao come here at this time, they must be here to discuss and ask Splendid China to redeem its corporate bonds. Otherwise, Miss CAI will not come in person. As soon as this big news gets out, Splendid China will just rise. A stock that rises will definitely fall back to its original state, and no one can save it. At this time, not only Tan Shahen and her company, but also all the managers at the middle level and above had all their wealth thrown into the stock market to increase their stock holdings. Even Zhang Chen had used most of his cash, of which 346 million was used to purchase. In addition to Lu Ligan's security rights, he also lent 70 million to Tan Shahen to increase his stock holdings. There is also Xiao Fang. The funds she helped find will be lost once Splendid China's stock price drops to a low and is eventually delisted from the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Tan Shahen was right, this time, everyone was really dragged in. Zhang Chen thought of something and said, I remembered, Tan Shahen, the prerequisite for them to come at this time and ask you to redeem the corporate bonds no longer exists. Haven't we already solved the poll issue? What doesn't exist? According to the agreement, Guang Gangza did not inform them and provided external guarantees without authorization, which brought unnecessary risks to them. With this one clause, they can ask for redemption. I have already studied this with lawyer Yu. This is a typical breach of trust, Tan Shahen said. Zhang Chen sighed. Lu Ligan's matter has been resolved. Tan Shahen's company has issued an announcement. It is impossible for Miss CAI and the others not to have seen it. If they have seen it, they still come. This is even more solid. They are here to demand redemption from Splendid China of corporate bonds. I didn't dare to tell anyone else about this matter, but I came to you right after I received a call from Mr. Chiao. Once I tell you, I think there will be an explosion in the company. For example, Ying Ying not only took her own money, but also took out all her parents' savings to increase her holdings of 16 million shares. Sister Gihua took out the demolition compensation from her family. Lao Tan was I have to lose all the money Sister Tianlin earned. If they find out about this, I don't know how I should face them. Tan Shahen kept chattering, but Zhang Chen calmed down. Zhang Chen asked Tan Shahen, have you ever met Miss CAI? Tan Shahen shook her head. I have seen it, Zhang Chen said, Miss CAI came in person this time. Tan Shahen, let me tell you, it may not be a bad thing, but I am afraid that she will not even show up, and just let Lao Jiao and the others issue an ultimatum. That's terrible. Logically speaking, she really doesn't have to come forward to demand the redemption of corporate bonds. What do you mean? Zhang Chen, what do you mean? Tan Shahen asked urgently, why is it not a bad thing that Miss CAI came here in person? I have met Ms. CAI, and I know she is not a difficult person to talk to. Her coming in person this time may be an opportunity for you two to communicate face to face and completely resolve your corporate debt matter. Otherwise, this matter will never be resolved. Hanging over the head, if there is some news today, the stock price will fall. If there is some news tomorrow, the stock price will fall again. To completely solve this problem can be done once and for all. Yes, Miss CAI's visit this time is an opportunity to completely solve this problem, Zhang Chen said. Zhang Chen, aren't you trying to comfort me? Tan Shahen asked doubtfully. I'm still trying to comfort you, but I'm not a comfort man. Zhang Chen stood up with a smile and said, let's go. Where to go? Tan Shahen asked. Brother Lu, Miss CAI is a friend of Brother Lu. It was Brother Lu who first brought Miss CAI to Hangzhou and introduced her to the Pole. Zhang Chen said, let's go and let Brother Lu teach you how to interact with deal with Miss CAI. Tan Shahen also stood up, and Zhang Chen said, I'll take your car, and I'll call first to see where Brother Lu is. Zhang Chen got through the phone number of Han Emperor Lu Bang and asked him where he was. He said that he and Tan Shahen had something to do with him. Lu Bang, the emperor of Han Dynasty, said, then let me come over. I'm at the bowling alley next door. Zhang Chen said yes. He sat down on the sofa. Tan Shahen was surprised and asked, "Why didn't you leave?" "Brother Lu is next door, he's coming over," Zhang Chen said. After 7 or 8 minutes, Han Emperor Lu Bang arrived. Zhang Chen told Han Emperor Lu Bang that Miss Cai would come to Hangzhou tomorrow. Han Emperor Lu Bang was surprised. He said, "She didn't call me." Immediately, the expression of Lu Bang, the founder of the Han dynasty, became serious. When Zhang Chen saw it, he knew there was something hidden and quickly asked, "Brother Lu, do you think Miss Cai is?" Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, looked at Tan Shahen. Tan Shahen said, "Brother, if you have anything to say, just say that I can withstand any bad news now." Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, shook his head and said, "Logically speaking, if Miss Cai comes to Hangzhou, she will definitely call me first." She didn't call. She wanted to do business, and she also knows about my relationship with you. Yes, she doesn't want to be affected by me. This time, I'm afraid it's going to be bad, and she will definitely ask you to redeem the corporate bonds. The words of Lu Bang, the founder of the Han dynasty, made Zhang Chen and Tan Shahen feel very cold. "But it doesn't matter," Lu Bang, the emperor of Han dynasty, said, "She doesn't want to see me, but I still want to see her. Zhen, I will go to the airport with you to pick her up tomorrow." Tan Shahen said, "Yes, thank you, Brother Lu. Don't worry, Zhen, even if I look down on my old face, I still want Miss Cai not to add fuel to the fire and do anything detrimental to your company at this time." Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, said. After finishing his words he sighed again. "However, the money belongs to others, and the decision-making power is still in their hands." Tan Shahen said, "I know, I still want to thank Brother Lu." Lu Bang, the emperor of Han dynasty, waved his hand. Tan Shahen asked Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, for advice on what she should pay attention to when meeting Miss Cai tomorrow, and what she should say and what she should not say. Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, asked, "The Pole still can't be contacted?" Zhang Chen and Tan Shahen shook their heads together. "It's a bit troublesome," Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, said. "Miss Cai is easier for men to deal with. For women, especially those as good-looking as Zhen, she is more or less like that is, when a woman meets a woman, the one you know." Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, saw that Tan Shahen was getting nervous and said quickly, "But it's not necessarily the case. Awen has a very good relationship with her. Zhen, when dealing with Miss Cai, just show your truest side. Don't let her feel that you are a bit pretentious, and Miss Cai is a bit, how do I put it, a bit self-important, especially in front of women. It's no wonder. She was born with a silver spoon in her mouth, and she came all the way from National Taiwan University and Stanford in the United States. So, don't let her feel that you are pretending to be smart, pretending to be smarter than her, and trying to overshadow her, and don't pretend to be stupid, it will make her think you are hypocritical. If she has this impression, she will weigh everything you say next." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "This is really a difficult role, Tan Shahen, can you master it?" "Yes, it's true," Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, said. "Didn't I say that it's a bit difficult for women to deal with her? She doesn't have many female friends in Taipei. I saw that she was surrounded by men. However, their line of work is originally a men's world." Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, thought of it. He picked up the phone, called Lin Shuwen and asked her, "Did you know that Miss Cai is coming to Hangzhou tomorrow?" "I don't know," Lin Shuwen said. "It seems that she is here to kill people." Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, said, "We can't let her do this. Awen, you have a good relationship with her. You are both women. You and Zhen can tell you how to deal with Miss Cai. Is Zhen with you, Brother Lu, Lin Shuwen asked. Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, said that we are all here with Zhang Chen. Let Zhen Zhen answer the phone. Lin Shuwen said, by the way, Brother Lu, will you pick up Miss Cai tomorrow? Yes, she doesn't want to see me, but I want to see her. Let my brother go tomorrow. Miss Cai has a good impression of him. She has told me about my brother more than once. The painting my brother gave her is hanging in her office in 101. Others ask about it. She always said that this was painted by my good friend from mainland China. Lin Shuwen said that Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, agreed. Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, gave the phone to Tan Shehen. Lin Shuwen made an appointment with Tan Shehen on the phone where they would have dinner at night. She said this was very important. Miss Cai likes to observe people while eating. She looks like she eats and talks to you very casually, but there is actually a pair of eyes behind her, and she is watching your every move. Also, Zhen Zhen, you're fine. Miss Cai is difficult to deal with, but she prefers people like us, Lin Shuwen said. Tan Shehen smiled and said, what type are we like? You are a woman who has never read any books or has a high degree of education, but she is very hardworking, self-reliant, and does not rely on men. Zhen Zhen, isn't that like you? I think you are like that, Lin Shuwen said. Thank you for your monthly votes from Vast Sky, Soft Voice 123, Tianying 1978, and Human Chair. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1500. Tan Shehen and Zhang Chen drove 2 cars and went to the airport to pick up Ms. Cai and her party. They had a 9 a.m. flight from Shenzhen to Hangzhou. Zhang Chen and the others were waiting at the exit. At 11:25, the exit screen showed that the plane had arrived on time. 10 minutes later, Miss Cai and Mr. Chiao, a group of 4 people, appeared in the crowd. Lin Shuwen was right. When Miss Cai saw Zhang Chen coming to pick him up, she was the first to go to him and at the same time stretched out her hand. Hello Mr. Zhang, long time no see. Zhang Chen held her hand and said, hello, Miss Cai, long time no see. Miss Cai then said to Han Emperor Lu Bang, Brother Lu, why are you here? What, don't you want to see me, Lu Bang, the Emperor of Han Dynasty, asked. Nowhere. It's just that when we come here this time, we will go back to Taipei after handling official business. We don't have time to stay in Hangzhou. I know Brother Lu is very busy, so I won't disturb you, Miss Cai said. Immediately behind Miss Cai was a very energetic young man. He stood there with a smile and listened to their greetings. When they finished speaking, the young man said to Lu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty. Hello Uncle Lu. Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, smiled and said, hello, Xiahua, your mother is taking you with her when she comes out now. He only knows how to study and doesn't know how big the world is. If I have this opportunity, I will take him out to see it, Miss Cai complained, but her voice was joyful. She said, it's a pity that Brother Lu is not in Taipei, otherwise I want him to follow his elder brother for 2 years, and he will definitely learn a lot. It's okay to come to the mainland, I'm afraid you won't be able to part with it, right, Lu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty, said with a smile. Miss Cai smiled, then turned to Tan Shehen and stretched out her hand, you are Miss Tan. I heard Mr. Chiao talking about you. He praised you for being very capable. Tan Shehen quickly held Miss Cai's hand and said, welcome, Miss Cai. Mr. Chiao has thanked you. Miss Cai and her party of 4, In addition to Miss Cai and Mr. Chiao, there are also her son Xiaohu and a lawyer named Xie. Both bosses came, and they brought their lawyers with them. Needless to say, this formation told Tan Shahan why they came this time. Everyone got in the car. Miss Cai and her son, Lu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty, got into Tan Shahan's car. Mr. Chiao and lawyer Xie got into Zhang Chen's car. Zhang Chen didn't know where lawyer Xie came from. Did Mr. Chiao bring him here? Miss Cai brought them, so it was hard for him to ask Mr. Chiao about the purpose of their visit to Hangzhou this time. Mr. Chiao was very tight-lipped and didn't reveal anything. The two of them could only talk about the weather in Shenzhen and Hangzhou. In the middle, Mr. Chiao just casually asked, "Can't we contact Mr. Lu?" Zhang Chen is right. Mr. Chiao immediately said that it was still summer in Shenzhen, but winter was almost here in Hangzhou. Zhang Chen was right. At this time, the weather in Hangzhou changes most obviously. As long as it rains, you need to add another layer of clothing. When they arrived at the Tuxianjiayuan Hotel, Lin Shuwen was already standing at the gate waiting for them. Tan Shahan couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief when she saw Lin Shuwen. Miss Cai saw that Lin Shuwen was very enthusiastic. The two shook hands and hugged each other. Miss Cai said, "It seems that the soil and water of the mainland are still nourishing people. Awan, you are getting younger and younger. You still want to talk about me. People who don't know see you and think you are Xiaohu's sister," Lin Shuwen said. Xiaohu stood beside him and chuckled. "Why are you laughing, Xiaohu?" Lin Shuwen asked. He already thought I was old. Now he doesn't call me mommy anymore, but calls me mom instead, Miss Cai said. "Oh, what's the matter?" In mainland China, even elementary school children call their mothers mom, Lin Shuwen said. "When I was studying in London, I learned this from my classmates in mainland China. When they called their mothers, they all called them mom. I thought it was very funny," Xiaohu said with a smile. Miss Cai patted the little tiger and said angrily, "It's fun, so why don't you just use it to mommy?" Everyone went upstairs and entered the box. After sitting down, Miss Cai asked Tan Shahan, "Ms. Tan, have you been engaged in real estate before?" Tan Shahan shook her head and said no. "She used to be a big star and actress," Lin Shuwen said from the side. "Isn't it? No wonder I said she looks so beautiful," Miss Cai said. Tan Shahan quickly defended, "I am not a big star. I used to be an actor in a small theater troupe." Zhang Chen said, "Mr. Tan, I, and Lu Ligan, we used to be in a theater troupe, and we were all good friends. However, at that time, wherever our troupe went, President Tan was still a star, and there were many children there every day. Follow her. Why is she not a star? She sang and won the championship of Zhejiang province. Zhejiang has a population of 2 people in Taiwan," Lin Shuwen said. It seemed that she was trying her best to speak well for Tan Shahan in front of Miss Cai. "Now I am taking advantage of my break to study for an MBA at Zhejiang University, and I will get my master's degree soon," Lin Shuwen added. "I see. No wonder Mr. Lu needs your help." Hearing what Lin Shuwen said, Miss Cai couldn't help but take another look at Tan Shahan. When the food was served, Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, invited everyone to eat. Miss Cai and Xiaohu tasted it and both said that the food here was delicious. Xiaohu asked Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, what kind of food it was. "Jianghu cuisine," Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, said. Jianghu food, Xiaohu thought this statement was very fresh. "Yes, Jianghu cuisine is the food served at banquets in the following villages," Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, said. "There is another point of emphasis here, that is, it is Zhejiang peasant cuisine, which has been transformed by Hunan's special chefs. This Zhejiang cuisine together with Hunan, doesn't it mean Jianghu? That's why it's called Jianghu cuisine." Not only Xiaohu, but also Zhang Chen and Tan Shahan heard the statement for the first time. They thought it was very fresh and appropriate. Zhang Chen said, "Yes, brother, this is a good statement. From now on, we will call this dish Jianghu cuisine." After eating, everyone got in the car and drove to the city. Tan Shahan asked Miss Cai in the car if she needed to go to a hotel to rest first. "I want to go to Gentian River to have a look first, can I?" Miss Cai said. "I heard from Brother Lu that there are now water buses there and many bridges have been built. There are many people going to the river to play." Tan Shahan was right. It has now been renamed Meisi River and Meisi River Park. It is one of the favorite places for locals in Hangzhou. During holidays, there are too many tourists from other places near the West Lake, so the locals give up the West Lake. They went to places like Meisi River and Longjing by themselves. As she spoke, Tan Shahan pulled over the car, turned on double jump, then picked up her phone and told MSCAI that I would arrange a cruise. Tan Shahan called the Meisi River Management Office and asked them to go to Zhang Chen's club and borrow their boat for use. MSCAI was sitting in the back row and looked at Tan Shahan very carefully. Her actions of pulling over, turning on the double jump, and then making a phone call left a good impression on her. She felt that this was someone who knew how to control risks. For people who work in finance, risk control is the most important thing. For an enterprise, risk management and control is not only to control the risks of your products and business, but also the risks of employees, including managers themselves. If people have risks, they will inevitably bring risks to the enterprise. The higher the rank, the higher the risk. The greater the risk. This is why this time, when MSCAI knew that Lu Ligan would act so recklessly as guaranteeing others without authorization, she was shocked and felt that she must come to Hangzhou. If the risks of this company have spilled over, of course, they will take quick action to ensure that their own interests are not damaged without hesitation. Tan Shahan drove the car directly to the dock of Gentian power plant. Zhang Chen and the others had already arrived. Miss Cai got out of the car, looked at the two glass houses not far away, and asked Tan Shahan, "What kind of house are these? They are so beautiful." Tan Shahan told her that this was Zhang Chen's art gallery and his club. "Is it Mr. Zhang's? Then I must go and take a look when I get back," Miss Cai shouted. Tan Shahan said yes. Standing at the dock of Gentian power plant, looking towards the Meisi River on both sides, Miss Cai could hardly believe her eyes. She asked Lu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty, "Brother Lu, is this really the Gentian River where we were last time?" Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, was right. "We also disembarked from the ship at this pier last time. Changed, completely changed, here, on this bank and on both sides of the river, everything has changed." Miss Cai's hand made a half circle, encompassing the Gentian power plant and the Meisi River in front, including the opposite side. Miss Cai said, "Mr. Lu promised me, and he did it." He also said to Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, "Brother Lu, your hard work is also involved in this, thank you." Everyone got on the painting boat in Zhang Chen's club. In the middle of the painting boat was a long coffee table, with 2 rows of sofas on both sides. There was a mahjong table in the free space above the head. Water and fruits were already placed on the coffee table. After snacks, everyone sat down. Only Miss Cai turned around and knelt on the sofa, lying on the window and looking out the window greedily. She looked at the clear river water outside the window, at the gardens and tourists on both sides, at the bridges of different shapes on the river, and the boats rippling on the river. She kept doing this all the time, and only once did she turn around and talk to her. Xiaohu said, "Xiaohu, you see, this is the Gentian River in Hangzhou. Now it has completely changed. You don't know how dirty it used to be. The water is stinky. Mommy did it. Mr. Lu and Brother Lu, help Mommy done. The painting boat walked back and forth on the Meisi River. When it was about to dock, Miss Cai and Tan Shahen said, "Miss Tan, can we leave again?" Tan Shahen agreed, and she asked the boatman to go again. This time, Miss Cai moved to the sofa opposite, still maintaining the posture in front, and continued to look outside. The boat returned to the dock again and docked. Everyone went ashore. Miss Cai stood on the dock and continued to look into the river. She said to Liu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty, "Mr. Liu is really capable. He really got this done. I really want to thank him in person." She turned around and said to Zhang Chen, "Mr. Zhang, this place is as beautiful as your painting. Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes, 1 up and 1 down, at about 3 o'clock in the middle of the night when I was only 48 years old. Thank you, Xiao Shen Nian Feng 48, Book Friends 201712021524072991, Free Rain and Clear Sky, Iron-Blooded Rape, Sway learns to sing, Void Broken Dreams, Why Can't I Change My Name, George Shao, Purple How, Pai Wuzun, Book Friends 202004162146455353, Book Friends 160529232957,000, Look at the Landscape, Book Friends 2017011172257990, Soft and Melodious 123 Monthly Pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1501. The group of people walked to the lakeside oil painting gallery and entered the gate. The first thing they saw was Xiao Shu's sister. Miss Cai was stunned for a moment. She had met Xiao Zhao when she came last time. They were there. Had dinner together. Miss Cai asked, "Mr. Zhang, isn't this painting?" Lin Shuwen quickly put her ear next to her and whispered a few words to her. Miss Cai's face suddenly changed and she said repeatedly, "I'm sorry, Mr. Zhang, I don't know." Zhang Chen interrupted her, "It doesn't matter. Many years have passed and I have gotten used to it and accepted this reality." Miss Cai nodded. She thought this painting was painted by Zhang Chen. She looked closely at the label on the side of the painting, but the author's name was not Zhang Chen. Liu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, told her that it was painted by Xiao Zhao's younger brother. Ms. Cai stared at the painting for a long time, and finally sighed. She said, "He must have been very sad when he was painting. He missed his sister very much." Zhang Chen said yes. After completing the painting, he almost collapsed. "I can understand," Miss Cai said, "but I really want to have such a brother." "I think so too," Lin Shuwen said. They visited the oil painting gallery for more than an hour. Zhang Chen personally explained each painting to them. Ms. Cai smiled and said, "I didn't understand many paintings at first and didn't take them in. As soon as Mr. Zhang said it, I got it. Xiahua, are you listening?" Xiahua smiled and said, "I have been listening to Brother Zhang's explanation attentively, and I have learned a lot." Miss Cai nodded with satisfaction. After visiting the lakeside oil painting gallery, they went to the club next door to rest for a while, and then sent Miss Cai and Mr. Chiao to the Hyatt Regency Hotel by the West Lake. In the evening, everyone had dinner together at the Hyatt Hotel. During the meal, Miss Cai and Tan Shahen said, "Tomorrow I want to see several of your projects in Hangzhou, and I also want to visit your company." Tan Shahen said yes. Zhang Chen said that I will accompany you. I know more or less about the design work of these projects, and I may know it better. "Isn't it troublesome, Mr. Zhang?" Miss Cai asked. Zhang Chen said it was no trouble. Mr. Liu and Mr. Tan's company's affairs were just like my own company's affairs. Miss Cai nodded, and she told Han Emperor Liu Bang and Lin Shuwen, "Brother Liu and Awen, please don't bother me." Liu Bang and Lin Shuwen, the founders of the Han dynasty, knew that they probably had something to say. They were nearby and it was not convenient for Miss Cai to say it, so they both agreed. Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, turned sideways and whispered to Jiang Chen, "If anything happens, just call me." Jiang Chen said yes. In the afternoon and evening, they didn't talk about work. They just went to the bathroom during the meal. When they came out, Mr. Chiao was waiting for him at the sink at the door. Mr. Chiao asked, but there was no way to contact Mr. Lu. Jiang Chen shook his head. Mr. Chiao sighed and said that Miss Cai is very optimistic about Mr. Liu's ability. She thinks Mr. Lu is a person who can have a good relationship with everyone. Such people are rare and everything will go smoothly. If Mr. Lu were here and said a few nice words, maybe this hurdle would be over and it wouldn't be a big deal. Jiang Chen knew from the afternoon when Mr. Lu kept coming out of Miss Cai's mouth that Miss Cai still admired the Pole. The two were talking when they saw Lawyer Xie coming from a distance. Mr. Chiao stopped abruptly, patted Jiang Chen on the shoulder, turned and walked out. Jiang Chen turned on the faucet and continued to wash his hands. When Lawyer Xie came in, after saying hello to him, he took out a tissue, dried his hands and walked out. This night, Jiang Chen had no chance to continue communicating with Mr. Chiao. After dinner, Jiang Chen, Tan Shehen, Han Emperor Lu Bang, and Lin Shuwen left the Hyatt Hotel and returned to Jiang Chen's office. None of them could guess what medicine Miss Cai was selling in the gourd. He couldn't guess what the words Mr. Chiao and Jiang Chen meant. It seemed to vaguely confirm that their visit this time would be detrimental to the Jinxia group, but they didn't say exactly how bad the situation would be. One thing they were clear about was that Miss Cai didn't seem to be in a hurry. It was not like what she told Han Emperor Lu Bang at the airport that she would return to Taipei after finishing her official business and she had no time to stay in Hangzhou. She didn't seem to be in a hurry to talk about work, let alone return to Taiwan. She even didn't seem to be in a hurry to leave Hangzhou at all. "I feel that Miss Cai is hesitating," Lin Shuwen said. "She doesn't say anything on the surface, but the inner drama has been played out scene after scene." When Lin Shuwen said this, everyone also felt the same way. Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, said, "Don't care about her. Anyway, let's watch while walking. If she talks about asking you to redeem corporate bonds tomorrow, Zhen, don't agree to her, find a way to delay it. Come on, give Awen and I some time, and we can go find her again." Tan Shehen said, "Yes, thank you brother Lu and thank you Shuwen. Zhen, be stronger tomorrow and let Miss Cai see that you can control the entire company," Lin Shuwen said. Jiang Chen smiled and said, "She doesn't need to be forceful. Tan Shehen is in charge of Jinxia Group. The Pole is Xianyun Yehi. His greatest contribution is his unconstrained imagination. There are also mischief like this time." Lu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty, also laughed. "Then show this of yours," Lin Shuwen and Tan Shehen said. The next day, they ran one project after another non-stop, and even had lunch at a random restaurant on the way to Jiangkan and the city in the sky. Throughout the morning, Miss Cai asked Tan Shehen about the project. Jiang Chen gradually realized that she was deliberately testing Tan Shehen to see how familiar she was with all projects. Jiang Chen even felt that under Miss Cai in her heart, she would doubt that Tan Shehen was just a vase that Lu Lizan brought with him, just like Wen Wen and Qian she saw when she came last time. It is too easy for people to have such an association with a beautiful woman. Even though the other person is also a woman, it is inevitable that she will have such an association. After several projects, MSCAI's problems gradually became less and less. Tan Shehen knew every project well and talked about it in detail. This cannot be memorized by rote. What is even more illustrative is that when they went to each project and sales department, the attitude of the project leader, sales department manager, including the person in charge of the construction company toward Tan Shahan, made it immediately obvious that she could indeed the person who takes overall responsibility and has the final say. Throughout the whole day, Miss Cai still didn't mention the corporate debt, nor did she say anything about the purpose of their trip. This made Zhang Chen secretly anxious, including Mr. Chiao. Unlike yesterday when he was waiting for him at the bathroom door, today when Chen approached him intentionally, he obviously avoided him, which made Zhang Chen feel very bad. He thought that last night, after they left, Miss Cai and Mr. Chiao must have discussed relevant matters. Could it be that Ms. Cai had already made a decision and that made Mr. Chiao change his attitude today? But if Ms. Cai has already made a decision, why should they visit the project so non-stop today and ask so many questions? Why not just start negotiating corporate bonds directly? All this puzzled Zhang Chen. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, after they had finished visiting the city in the sky and were about to return to downtown Hangzhou, Miss Cai suddenly said to Zhang Chen, "Mr. Zhang, can you let Mr. Chiao drive your car?" Zhang Chen agreed and handed the car keys to Mr. Chiao. He knew that they were going to discuss things in the car on the way back. Zhang Chen got into Tan Shahan's car. He sat in the driver's seat and asked Tan Shahan to move to the passenger seat. He told Tan Shahan to recharge her batteries and continue the battle of wits and courage later. They left first, and Mr. Chiao drove behind their car. "Zhang Chen, what do you think this woman means? Why am I so upset by her?" Tan Shahan asked Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "How do I know? You women can't guess a woman's mind." "How can I, a grown man, know that?" "Go on, only men can guess a woman's thoughts," Tan Shahan said. "That's a man like a pole, not a man like me," Zhang Chen said. Tan Shahan turned her head and looked at him with wide eyes. "Are you stupid? Don't you know that you can accurately grasp a woman's thoughts? You can even persuade Nan Nan to take the art exam, which is so difficult." "That's only for you, Tan Shahan, and it won't work for other women." "Who makes me know you too well? I am your Tathagata's palm. No matter how you do somersaults, you can't get out of my palm," Zhang Chen said with a smile. "Am I a monkey? Get out," Tan Shahan cursed. When they arrived at Kiyoshi Academy, it was already 6 o'clock. Zhang Chen looked at his watch and said to Miss Cai, "Let's go have dinner." Miss Cai waved her hand and asked Tan Shahan, "Ms. Tan, can you ask someone from your company to buy us some bread or something, and we can continue in the conference room?" Tan Shahan said yes, and she asked, "Is KFC okay?" Okay, Miss Cai said. Zhang Chen led Miss Cai and the others to the conference room. Tan Shahan walked to Yao Fen's office. Yao Fen was still waiting for them. Tan Shahan and Yao Fen said, "Go buy 4 KFC family buckets." Yao Fen said yes. "By the way, go to Wang Minzhen's store and buy 10 cups of milk tea. If Minzheng is in the store, ask him what kind of cake Miss Cai likes to eat. You can bring some back." "Minzheng should know," Tan Shahan continued. After explaining, Yao Fen nodded. Tan Shahan walked to the conference room, and Miss Cai said to her, "Miss Tan, would you please introduce us to the situation of each of your branches?" Tan Shahan said yes, and then she began to introduce the projects on sale, projects under construction and land reserves of each branch. When Tan Shahan finished introducing the last Xiamen branch, Yao Fen came in with 2 people carrying KFC, milk tea, and cake. Tan Shahan asked them to put everything on the conference table. Miss Cai looked at the milk tea and cake, her eyes as soon as it lit up, I couldn't help but clap my hands and shouted. "This is Minzhen's milk tea and cake, right? Tan Shahan is right." "Thank you, Miss Tan, you are so considerate," Miss Cai said. They sat around the conference table to fill their bellies, and Tan Shahan asked Yao Fen and the others to clean up the conference table. When Yao Fen and the others went out, Miss Cai said, "Okay, Let's continue. Now we can talk about the purpose of our visit this time. Lawyers, yeah, you go ahead. My dear, it's time to finally show off my sword, Jiang Chen thought to himself. However, this makes lawyer Xie think that nothing good will probably happen. If something involves the lawyer, is it possible for it to be good? Jiang Chen thought again. Thanks to Shi Yitan, Reader 11963189776326411024, Yuza Xiaoliu, Xiao Daba, Kankanshan Shui, and Gu Xiao Kaiokio for their monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone.